and welcome to the Old Man Orange podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Dunigan.
Dude, did you get that picture I sent you yesterday?
You sent me a screenshot of like it looked like a Halloween tour, like they're doing like a concert for like all the Halloween music.
No, dude, it's literally John Carpenter is traveling around the country playing like his greatest hits from all his movies.
Just literally him and a keyboard.
Well, I'm assuming there might be some other people there too, but yeah, mostly him and a keyboard with like maybe a backup band. But I'm like, dude, like that's something you never really like think of is like John Carpenter just traveling around. So I kind of thought that a while ago. Like I watched his last movie because I had it sitting there for like 5 years and I felt kind of bad, called The Ward, and it was pretty good. But it's just one of those ones I'm like, dude, that's the last movie he made, and I think that was like 2008 or 9 or something like that, maybe 10. And it's just like, I feel like, what has he been up to in the last while? But, like, the idea of just, like, an 80-year-old man traveling around playing his jams, like, especially, like, those ones, because, like, every single one of his movies has, like, sweet songs, you know? Whether it be Escape from New York or fucking Big Trouble in Little China, of course, Halloween. But, it doesn't matter which movie it is. They all have a sweet song in there.
I could just see people just, like, shooting up devil horns and all that, and he's just like, you motherfuckers know this one? Just like stage dives.
I know, and then next thing's like, okay, we're going to go into Big Trouble. It's like, down, 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 down. Or even like the Assault on Precinct 13 one. That's like that's a badass song too.
Mm-hmm. The dun, how's it go? It was a really good one. Dun, 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 dun. Something like, it was kind of like almost like a military march almost, but it was something like dun 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 dun. Not that exactly, but something to that effect.
But it was kind of funny because like it was like one of those Spotify emails. So it's like, because of your artist that you listen to, it's like, oh, cool. It's like John Carpenter, and it's coming up in like November, and it's right at the Warfield in San Francisco.
That's pretty awesome.
So I'm like, which one? The Warfield, it's like, I know it has seats above, but it doesn't have seats below, but I just can't imagine it just being like a free pit down there or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
They'll probably put seats or something in for a concert like that, but I'm like, oh, that's totally awesome.
Well, I don't imagine that being just don't get me wrong, there'll be people there, but I don't see it being ridiculously crowded as if it was like, some like major band playing or something like that. It's because mostly going to just be movie people there. They'll almost probably treat it like they're at the cinemas almost. Like, let's be respectful, let him play.
Yeah. It's like, there's some guy over there eating popcorn real loud. They're like, get that fucker out of here. Get that fucker out. If he can't eat with his mouth closed, he doesn't belong here. The security comes and pulls away like, no! Just like a panic scream. Like, just did not expect this.
He sees the guy getting pulled off. He starts to play. As he gets pulled away, that's when he starts to play like some song where Michael's killing somebody.
Yeah, exactly. But I was just like, that's just a cool idea. It's like something you would never really think about. I mean, obviously, yeah, you see those composers have those ones. Like John Williams has done those kind of like, but they must always feel like they happen in like one place. It's like, it's in New York and that's it. Or it's in, somewhere that you have to travel far. It doesn't seem like, oh, it's a full-on tour like any other band. With, like,
well,
bands,
I feel it's
like,
I think it just...
It'd be funny if it just, like, with, like, opening bands, too, like... I'm trying to think of some young composer. I was going to say, like, the guy who did, like, all the DCU stuff, because he always kind of reminded me like John Carpenter anyways. Chris
Clark or Chris Drake or Nate or something like that?
Something Drake. Chris Drake, I think, is it. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. Or it's like the guy who's been doing soundtrack to Drive, like all this very John Carpenter kind
of wannabe stuff. That's
like,
not a bad thing, though.
I'll say this. I mean, there's a lot of movies that have come out recently that I like that do that whole 80s synthesizer thing, but I'm getting really tired of hearing like in every like quasi-independent movie or movie trying to go with the independent vibe.
Are you kind of... See, I've never really gotten too sick and tired of the synthesizer, because I always feel like that's like the best way to like score any movie, is with the synthesizer.
Well, I feel like it's like, all right, I liked it in The Guest, and I liked it in like Drive, But it's just like whenever
Hobo
there's
with a shotgun.
Hobo with a shotgun, because I think those are very fitting because they're meant to be throwbacks. But then they used it, I think, a little bit in Death Note. And like, why are you using it in Death Note? I mean, Death Note doesn't even. It's not set in the 80s. It's not meant to look like the 80s. It's the same director as the guest.
Yeah, it should have. Oh, that's kind of cool. I didn't know that. That actually, like, because that was one of those ones when that Death Note movie kind of came out. To me, it just was ones like, why do I care? I saw Death Note the anime. I've seen the Japanese movies. You know, it's like one of those ones like, I mean, how many times are you going to make a movie off the same thing? It's like, especially in like under 10 years.
My thing is, I go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, I just didn't, it's not saying anything against it. For all I know, maybe it's like, especially when you say it's from the director of the guest, that's like, oh, that's actually kind of cool. But for the most part, it just feels like one of those ones, like, it's just like when you kind of get more of the same thing just over and over again. And it's kind of like, you know, they did it fine the first couple times. I don't know why we have to keep making the same thing.
It's one of those things where if you said that it was like, if you never watched Death Note, it would probably be fine. It would probably be an enjoyable, weird little horror movie. Mm-hmm. And you might be thinking like, oh, this kind of sounds like that Death Note thing I heard about, you know. And like the two really good parts about it is, well, I'm going to say good and a half. William Dafoe is Ryuk. The way they animate him, the way he talks, the way he acts, really good. He looks like, because they only showed him part like in the shadows. A lot of times he's in the shadows, but there's a couple times you see his face clearly. I'm like, oh, that looks really good. And then the guy that plays L, he did a good job. He did a really good job, but the last acts, they go, it's not L. He's chasing him down with a gun. We have a whole foot chase, and it's like, yeah, you know, L is not known for his athleticism, so
yeah, he eats cakes all day long. He's probably like, he's that kind of kid who probably like takes off and runs about all of 15 feet and then stops and goes, and even though he's really skinny, he's just like super out of shape.
Well, my thing is, like, you look at L, I'm surprised he's not covered in acne and doesn't have, like, diabetes, because all he eats is candy and sweets. And
he probably will have diabetes in about 5 years if he didn't die. Yeah,
that's a good point. Well, anyway, so Sully is a, like, kind of a quasi, you know, horror, not slasher, but I guess mystery, murder kind of story. It's interesting. It's not like, it's decent. It's worth watching, but don't go in thinking, oh, Death Note, because every once in a while Ryuk will come in. I'm like, oh, there's Ryuk. It's kind of like Death Note.
Mm-hmm. It just sounds like the Mom and Pop in Oklahoma version, but I think that's a good thing.
It's one of those things. Well, it's kind of like Mom Pop in the Oklahoma version, as in like, I feel like how do I put this? Because Mom Pop in Oklahoma probably don't go to very many slasher flicks. It's kind of like, say you have like that friend who doesn't watch anime, doesn't like anime, but then they probably like this movie. But,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But it's one of those things where it's not like it's not, because there are some, because the gore is pretty good, and there is some interesting scenes in the movie, but it's like, it's one of those things, because the whole thing about Death Note is Light, he's a sociopath, and I'll be honest, I never really liked Light, but I didn't mind watching his story because he was smart. It was, you know, you could watch a whole story not liking somebody, but if they have enough redeeming qualities, you kind of want to know where they go. Mm-hmm. Light, I didn't really like him, but he was really smart. The whole thing with him is he was a sociopath who he said he was in it for justice, but he really wasn't. He just looked more for a reason to be on top and thought he was superior than everybody else. Mm-hmm. And he got a little bit of the power of a god, basically. And this, he's very much of like, I'm a good guy who just wants to do good, and I got this, and oh no, the power's too much for me, and he's very Americanized. He's very much of like, he's not meant to be a villain in this at all.
Huh. Well, that's, as I said, like, I think it's like one of those ones, like, I don't really care to see it still, like, but I think it's good for, it's almost like it's a good story that, like, I know some people would just put up because, one, they'd either see the anime version and go, fucking hate anime, or they'd see the Japanese version and go, fucking hate subtitles. You know what I mean? So I think it is good that there is a version like this, just for that kind of audience who can actually, so you can see the story without having to put up with all, like, you know, your racism. Because that's just what it sounds like. Because at the end of the day, if you hate anime and you hate subtitles, you're probably slightly racist. just slightly. Not like hardcore racist. You know, it's not like you're out out there like flag waving racist. It's more just like you have that sort of like slightly bitter thing.
Not walking around with tiki torches, nothing like that.
Yeah, just that kind of thing that like if you see like maybe an Asian guy go down the aisle, you kind of come to it a little bit later.
But that's like there's a whole stereotype. Oh no, there's a couple of big black guys down there, but like they have the one guy who's really afraid of Asian.
There's a couple Asians.
They're just gonna do like backflips chasing after you, doing kung fu. He just buys into all the stereotypes.
Well, I'll say this. In, like, every kung fu movie, though, there always is, like, that group of mostly Asian guys that, like, they're almost kind of like the gangster guys. Like, whether it doesn't matter what year the kung fu movie's made, where they do feel like if you were that guy to walk down the wrong aisle with them, they would, like, hassle you and... You know what I mean? And then, some kind of kung fu scene would break out, but obviously if you weren't trained for this, it's not going to pan out very well.
I think I may have said this before on the show, I don't remember, but if there's one person you do not want to be in, like, say, 80s and back Hong Kong movie, it's a little kid. Because what's going to fucking happen is you're going to fucking die. If you're not going to die, you're going to get smacked around. Like, there's one part, like, in, I think it's Big Boss, and the original Chinese one, I think it was Fist of Fury. But he comes up, like, some little kids, what was it? Actually, Fist of Fury, the Chinese Connection. Maybe I'm wrong here.
No, because it's Fist of Fury, I think, is the English version, and then the Big Boss is the Japanese name. Or, I mean, the Chinese name. In Chinese Connection, what was the original name? That's the second one, and then I think that one's actually called...
Fist
I almost want to say Fist of Fury in China. It's confusing. Yeah. Especially when you go to buy the movies, because I'm always afraid, like, something's going to... Like, when I was buying Fist of Fury, I thought I was going to buy it over twice, because I wasn't going to find the right one.
And Way of the Dragon... It's called Way of the Dragon in China, but it's actually Return of the Dragon here.
Oh, yeah.
And they just kind of like, we'll just treat it like a sequel, but it's not a sequel. They won't fucking know that. Same guy.
Yeah, same guy.
He one of them, he dies. With the other, he goes to jail. Whatever.
Same thing. Die, jail. What's the difference?
Plus, this one takes place in modern day. This one takes place back in, like, 1902. I don't fucking know, dude. Shit. Throw it on the fucking rack. Or on the projector.
Yeah, the projector rack.
They didn't have DVDs then. I forgot. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Or VHSs.
Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, like there's that part where like the kid, as soon as like Bruce Lee gets to town and Big Boss, he's walking around. It's a little kid. It's just how cartoonish it is. It's funny to me. I don't know why. This little kid, and plus it's dubbed, so the dubbing is always awkward back then. He's just like, rice balls, come get your rice balls. And then like some guys like, oh, you got there, kid? What are you? Rice balls? Oh, the guy takes the basket. And the other guys go, hey guys, come on guys, gather around, get some rice balls here. Come on. He says, okay, that'll be 2 cents each. What? 2 cents each for the rice balls. Get out of here, little bastard! Punches the kid in the face.
Beat him like they're our balls.
Our rice balls. I don't got 2 cents for it. Then all of a sudden the kid goes running off to the cousin like, he took my rice balls. And then they intervene. I don't think it's Bruce, but I think Bruce is about to intervene. His cousin intervenes because it's a little bit in that movie before he fights anybody. Mm-hmm. And then later, when they go and they kill everybody in the family except Bruce, he just walks in the kid's room, just this distant shot of the kid face down on his bed, knife in his back, which I think it's meant to be like a very like horrifying image, but it's just one of those things that just like, I don't know what about that, the way it looks, just so cartoonish, like I guess for how much that kid is kicked to the curb in that movie and never gets redemption, it almost comes back in kind of like a old Gil from The Simpsons kind of way, you know?
Yeah. Just that's all you're going to get now. You're just going to get a knife in the back because you're a little kid trying to make a living at age 8.
I don't ask me why that's funny to me, because any other scene, because like Rambo, the last Rambo, one of the hardest things to watch in that movie is when they're gutting and shooting those kids and those villagers. Yeah, and they just have them run out there, they go through the landmines, and you literally see him bayonet a little girl. It's hard to watch, but it's building up to a moment where you're gonna see Rambo go, "Fuck yeah, kill all these motherfuckers!" Exactly. So it's like you sit through it for that. But something about that part in Big Boss, I can't help it. It's kind of like the same thing. To bring it back to John Carpenter, Assault on Precinct 13. I didn't get any sprinkles.
Boom. Well, that's just how the 70s were. The 70s just had, like, they matter like both Chinese and, like, American movies, and pretty much European as well. Like, they just, like, they went hardcore about everything. Like, I think at that time period, you know what's gonna be fucked up is just shooting a little kid or stabbing a little kid. And I think just by doing it, like, without even, like, having any remorse or anything like that, it almost makes it slightly funny in the long run. But
I just imagine, like, if it was, like, you know, like, here's your sprinkles, and literally is kind of sprinkling on them for him.
Yeah, that sounds like an 80s one. Like, I'll give you some sprinkles. Like the one-liner moment instead of the 70s, so it's just, like, quick and to the point. It's funny, I'm working on Pizza Boyz 4, the script right now. And what that movie is, for anybody who doesn't know other than Ryan, is that it's all about the gangs now making a movie like they were in high school, so they have to go back and make kung fu movies, because that's all we ever seemed to make in high school was something kung fu, or at least kung fu oriented.
It was kung
or even if it wasn't kung fu oriented, it would at least have a martial arts scene in it for some dumb reason.
It was either kung fu oriented, a Tarantino ripoff, maybe quasi Kevin Smith ripoff, or ripping off an anime, which kind of falls into kung fu. When it's
it was mostly all that combined together more than anything, but kung fu was always there no matter what. It didn't matter what we were making. There always had to be some type of martial arts scene, it seemed like, and they never were really great, but I think it was just fun to shoot. So,
I remember there just being like, because we would actually go out in the woods with swords. Now, granted, these aren't real battle-ready swords, but still, like, people ranging from, like, 16 to 18 with swords out in the woods with a camera. Like, we're gonna go make a movie, Dad! Okay, whatever. and like, just the idea of just, like, you know, showing this, like, okay, you guys are actually out there really slamming metal against each other. It sounds kind of gay when you put it that way, but yeah, like, we're, yeah.
Well, I mean, at least we're not slamming wood.
Well,
we were in practice. We were choreographing the scene.
Yeah, but it was one of those things where I remember just, like, my parents literally turned and they're just like, "You guys really went out there and did all this?" Like, well, yeah, it's on the screen. Like, what if you guys could have really got fucking hurt? What do you do? Like, I don't know. Just, it's a cool shot though, right? And like, I don't care about the shot. What do you? They actually literally got mad at me.
They swinging swords.
Well, they literally saw us like swinging swords in this movie and all.
But it's funny. There's a line I wrote, or there's like a little bit I wrote in there yesterday, where once, like, the whole point's like, we gotta go get the gang back, just like Blues Brothers style, so we can shoot this movie again, get all the friends together. And when they come back, your character's writing the script, and I can't remember how it starts off, but somebody goes, like, oh, dude, we gotta get this one girl for a scene and stuff. And Kyle walks in, he's like, the rape scene? And you're like, there's no rape scene in the story. He's like, dude, there's gotta be a rape scene. Every 70s kung fu movie seems to have a rape scene. And then as people keep coming in, it's almost kind of reminds me almost like it's an Always Sunny in Philadelphia moment where they keep walking in, and people are like, what scene? A rape scene? Oh, dude, I can't wait to do this rape scene. It's like, dude, there's no rape scene going on here. And it's like, rape scene! They even look over at Audrey, like, Audrey, you want to be in a rape scene? No, I don't want to be in any scene. Just start
I just
chanting,
imagine
like rape scene. You're like, dude, there's no rape scene.
The couple people I know that Audrey's based on, I could just imagine either of them just not even saying anything to Kyle, just looking at him blankly, just walking out the door.
Yeah, just like, no.
Like, I could just literally see, I won't say their names, but I could literally see the main inspiration for her just being like, Kyle, just stop.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Just
I like how that, we'll talk about, because I just read Pizza Boyz 3, and I really liked it. I kind of liked them as they've gone on more and more, and I think the third one's the best one so far.
Which is pretty good, because mostly, like, it always seems like, generally, this doesn't matter what kind of story it is, but lots of times things kind of go, you know, the first one comes out, and that's like, you know, the baseline, I guess you can say, no matter what. And then the second one comes out, and a lot of times that one always seems kind of be like the sort of maybe sometimes better. If it's music, it seems like it's kind of like the lesser one, because they're like, oh, fuck, these are all like our extra tracks. We put all the good ones on the first one, and now we just got to fill up a second one because it's year 2. And then like the third one can be kind of like, and it can be like a mixed match one. Sometimes it's either like the really, really good one, or it's kind of the one where it's like, oh, the third one's where they kind of petered out just for a moment, and then they came back. So it's good to see it's kind of like stair-stepping.
Yeah. At least it's probably my favorite so far out of the 3. If this is the first time you've been listening to the show, Pizza Boyz, to some extent, it's almost kind of like Old Man Orange, the comic book, to an extent, made by Spencer. Only kind of like, basically kind of quasi. I'll let you explain. It's your book. What the fuck am I doing?
I know, well, it's something that's kind of nice when you hear somebody else trying to explain it. Well, the way I kind of, it's kind of fun because sometimes I sit around, it's like, well, I don't really hang out with my friends anymore, but I at least could draw and write about hanging out with my friends. It almost sounds kind of sad when you like say it like that, but that's sort of like, you know, everybody's always kind of busy and they're all, you know, doing their own things, but so it's like, I'll get the gang back together in cartoon form.
In my mind. Yeah, no, well, it's like, well, at least out of the 4 guys, I talk to one of them once a week on Skype.
Yeah, that's about the closest thing, and then the other ones I talk to every once in a while. Yeah. But yeah, no, what Pizza Boyz is just like, it's almost like it's a sitcom. It's a comedy. It's, you know, just about friends hanging out, doing all kinds of things, getting into situations. If I had to sum it up to like, what is it like? I would say it's similar to something maybe like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, or, you know, in a comic book form, I go for the vibe of maybe something similar to Scott Pilgrim or Clerks the comic books, Clerks the animated series, and maybe Strangers in Paradise even. So something like along those kind of lines. Mm-hmm. You know, and I mean, for as many comic books as I read, I really don't see anything like it. I'm always kind of glad for that because you know when you go to like a Comic-Con and you pick up some just random indie books. And you kind of go, it's not, you know, not that they're bad looking or anything like that. You know, the art's decent and everything like that. But you do kind of realize you read some of them and you're like, well, this just feels like a knockoff story of G.I. Joe. Or here's a knockoff story of, like, I wish I was, like, Robin. Or I wish I was, you know, some type of superhero. And, you know, it's always like, okay, it's not bad. It's cool. I understand you know, you like this stuff. But sometimes I just kind of feel like, you know, it'd be nice just something a little bit more original. And at least, I don't know, toot my own horn here. But I don't see anything that's like Pizza Boyz. That's the one thing. I also don't see it. I break the rule where they say never make a black and white cover. Well, I just make a bunch of black and white covers because I don't want people to pick up a book that has a colored cover on it and go, "What the fuck? The book's not in color."
You don't want to mislead them. Plus,
no, I want it like from the very beginning. You know what you're getting into. The only other book that I know that's a comic book that has a black and white cover is Clerks. I don't think there's anything else that really has black and white covers.
Plus, that's fitting because you know the movie and all that. But regarding Pizza Boyz for a second, that right there, I think that. One of the things that makes it really stand out, aside from its own personal, parts of it are personal experience because it's semi based on a true story in certain aspects. Yeah. I think part of it is a lot of the times you don't really see like sitcom style humor or It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia style humor in comic form that much, and usually when I see like comedy, how do I put this? Comedy and independent. I'm sorry, can't even talk today. Comedy independent comics. They usually have a little bit more of kind of like an art school kind of vibe to them, which this does not seem to be going for. It seems to be
it's like the exact opposite of that.
You're almost trying to go for something that looks like it was probably like on Comedy Central, like in the '90s, maybe.
Yeah, because it's like there's other ones that like there's cool books like this book that I've been reading recently called like Octopus Pie. It's got a weird fucking name, but like. It's the total, like, I live in New York. I have an art school friend. My roommate's a hippie, you know. And it's a cool book, and it's funny, and it's got... I like it because it's got, like, really shitty artwork, but not, like, in a bad way. You know, it's just like, oh, it's like those kind of books you look at, it's like, anything's possible. And it's like, it's a cool book, check it out. But that is definitely, like, what I feel like so many books that go for, like, that indie scene, that's, like, they either take place in, like, one or... A lot of times they're always New York. It's always like, I live in New York. You know, I just got out of art school. I'm trying to find a job. And it's like, you know, we hang out with hipsters and there's, you know, coffee shops everywhere. Where, like, I feel like this book is like, it takes place in the mountains. They hang out in the woods. It's California, but not the California that anybody knows.
I just Googled Octopus Pie and it looks like, I like the art style. It looks very Scott Pilgrim-ish.
Yeah, it's like Scott Pilgrim as fuck, but, like, it's a good book, though. I mean, like, I picked it up on sale or something for, like, $5, and it was, like, 500 pages or something, like, ginormous. And it was like, so it's a cool one, you know, and I just pick up ones like that. Like, another book that I really like the artwork in a lot is called that Black Metal, and I think I told you about that one before.
You told me about it. I want to check that one out.
Where it's like those two, like Norse kids that are living... I actually like the way that book started off was better, because it almost felt like a sitcom at first, and then all of a sudden they started to, like, go into, like, the depths of hell with, like, a black metal band and fight demons. And it sounds weird, but that was actually, I liked it more when it was just these kids, like, hanging out in school and just being way different than everybody else, almost. Like, the comedy, and that was, I thought, was better, and still it started to become, like a Lord of the Rings adventure story. I was like, oh, well, I mean, it's not like it's not cool, but, like, something was, I don't know, I like the comedy part more.
I was reading, what was I? It was, I'm currently in the third volume of Low, which is by Rick Remender. And I just got done reading Reborn by Mark Millar and Greg Capullo. And yeah, I love that book. And for it was one of those books where I'm just like, I really like that. Oh, there's going to be more. Okay, that's good.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know if there was going to be more or not. Because it just felt like, because then he went on, he started doing Batman Black Metal, so it almost felt like, okay, well, there was this nice little fun book, and now let's go make some money.
Well, I don't know if Capullo's going to be back on it. Maybe he will. Maybe I haven't looked into that. But I know Millar, I read the interview in the back, and he says he wants to make 5 volumes of this thing.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, like on Pizza Boyz 3, like it goes into a story of like, in a sense, I just use, because like every single issue I've kind of had these like stories throughout time of like, okay, I always had Jim stories, so I used that for the second one. I always wanted to incorporate the podcast because I realized that there was literally there's only like one comic book I ever saw that had podcast, at least like somewhere in the title. Like nothing else has podcast. I mean, they might have podcast in them, but they're definitely not like shown with a podcast. So I think that's kind of cool. And then, yeah, the lifeguarding one, it's like I had like an idea a long time ago for like, whether it be a movie, whether it be, most of the time all these things start off as movies. Back in the olden days when everything was like, we're making movies.
Kind of funny how that goes, and now it's like, I won't say what happens because you told me where it goes, but I'm kind of like, I kind of like how you kind of, as you told me, like, well, that leads into like what some of the stuff we're doing now. So it's like how we got to where we're at now, sort of.
Yeah, exactly. Because, there was a time period where we used to make movies like they're going out of style, and it just became harder and harder. Because the thing about a movie, you just can't make a movie really by yourself. Or it's just no fun to really make a movie by yourself. Let's just say that. You kind of want to have, like, an ensemble of actors and crew and, that. But once the second people start failing you. But, yeah, that's like what this, that lifeguarding one. Just have all these, like, lifeguarding stories. So it's like, well, let's just throw this in there. Then we'll just make the Pizza Boys. They need a job. Boom, we'll just give them a job for the summer. And then I wanted to make that thing feel like it goes by, kind of like, because if you look, it's like almost like every like 2 pages or so, it almost like skips ahead like 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, so that it has that feel of almost like going to like lifeguarding, because it's only like last 2.5 months or something like that. So it always feels like it's like by the time it's over, it's like, oh, that went by real quick. It's like, yep, that's summer. Get the fuck out of here.
I liked how the one guy who took the job really seriously, how you kind of modeled him after kind of like an out of shape Russell Crowe.
Oh, yeah, I guess he's kind of like... I didn't think about Russell Crowe. I just kind of made him kind of like...
Are you not impressed? You like literally had him pose like Maximus in that one part.
Oh, yeah, well, that part I thought of it just like that, because the guy gets so into like saving people, almost like that's his like goal. Like, this is the only job he's had since he was like a teenager. He's never worked anywhere else, so lifeguarding's all he knows.
So even in the off-season, he's the guy who's just maintaining the pool, taking care of it. He's also the groundskeeper, and then when it's actually time to be a lifeguard, he's just like, out of the way, I got this.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's always ones like, if you can get that year-round lifeguard job, I think of that, it's like, dude, that's probably like, that would be like the most ideal thing, because I was just flipping through, like, not too long ago, and, like, I just saw, like, they had the lifeguard jobs come up, and I just, like, wanted to see what they're getting paid nowadays. It's like, they're getting paid, like, $20 an hour nowadays. It's like, Jesus Christ. I was like, it was like entry level was $16 an hour. I'm like, what the fuck? But the downfall is you can only get it for, like, 2.5 months. That's where it kind of, like, loses its thing. It's like, that's what I felt like, what you need is like some senior pool that's open like all year round. I mean, the sucky thing is when something bad happens, you're gonna have to go in and get some fat, out of shape senior from like the bottom. Like, that's gonna be kind of tough. But for the most part, you'll never have any rowdy children or anything like
Bring
that.
in the crane, just like the claw. It's
just like that Mario Party mini game where you have to like pick up like the other people. It's like like the.
Well, you think about it. I don't think I'm wrong here. We are trying to build up to a particular kind of future, and it wouldn't surprise me in the least bit. Maybe not like right away. Maybe in 40 years, possibly they'll start training to be a robot lifeguard. So, or just something happens, or like there'll be some mechanism. Someone falls over, some mechanism just pulls the person up, like revives them, like tumbles them to the side of the pool, goes back to doing what it's doing.
Oh, I definitely agree that, like, and probably not even that much longer, probably not even 40 years. I bet you soon, like, they won't even have humans, like, being allowed to, like, do anything medical. It'll be all robots, because the robots will be so much more, like, precise and everything like that, and they'll be able to, like, dial it in. Like, they're, the way that they'll have it all kind of geared up is, like, the way they can feel is they can feel the exact amount of pressure they need to put on someone's, like, rib cage, not just like a human just going, fucking, I'm gonna save this motherfucker's life! God damn it, if it's the last thing I do. You know,
Some
the robot's not
hose
going to
comes-
have, like, those, like, emotional feelings happening.
Some hose shoots out into the guy's mouth and pumps air.
Yeah.
Some little kid bystander sees that, gives him a fetish for some shit, for like sees at too young of an age, and just like fucks him up for life.
Yeah, exactly. And I also liked the Pizza Boyz 3 because like it just made like the people, because I always felt like the people at the pool that a lot of times show up. It really, at the end of the day, it's probably like this in almost any city. It seems like it's kind of like the trailer trash, ghetto trash, like daycare, because you can send your kid there every day for like $2.
Well,
Like, what kind of daycare can you get like 6 hours for like $2?
Plus you just said like one day after you got off work, you came to me and you're like, dude, it's just like, it was like I just looked out in that pool. I just saw bags of Funyuns floating around, an empty bottle of Mountain Dew. Some mom in a moo-moo's like, Jarvis, get in the car, we're leaving now.
Well, I just remember watching like fat ladies like that get like all drunk up and they're like, "Mama's coming in the pool, sumo jumping in." You're like, "Oh God."
What'd you say? What was it like? Get ready for the tidal wave! Like some like fat mom.
Yeah, she's like big old lady jump in like wow, and she do like I don't know, like what's that? I'm trying to blank on what it's called. Where
tidal wave?
No, the one where like they jump up and they pull one knee up and the other leg straight. It's the same name. It's the same name like when a semi truck like turns sideways and like it's like at a right angle going down the road.
T-bone.
Not T-bone. Fuck.
I know you're talking about though.
I can't think of what it's called, but like yeah, it just jumps like woo. But you know, as I said, like up here you get like redneck people, but I bet you in the city it's pretty much probably all the ghetto people. Is like, oh cool, I can leave my kid here for $2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't really... I'm going to say this. You don't see a lot of rich people, like, dropping their kids off there.
They got their own pool. Why the fuck would they go to...
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
Why would they go to the poor people pool? Shit.
Yeah, that's really... At the end of the day, that's what a public pool is. It's, like, the ultimate, like, poor person, like, place to, like, hang out.
To make it local for a second, why do you think the pool in, like, Sonora Fitness is so expensive? They don't want none of those people there.
Yeah, exactly. Charge $120 a month. That's how you keep out the poor people.
Yeah, because I was going there. How much just for the pool? Like $120 a month? Fuck that. Went the other way.
What if I want the gym too? That's $180.
It's like, I've been inside. It doesn't look that nice, dude.
Yeah, it's not that nice. Jesus Christ. I should have like a robot personal trainer for that price.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I have a real human personal trainer? No, you get a robot one. But still, it's just one of those ones like
they're already training. Like they're already self-driving cars, but they're just not totally legal yet. I mean, they've had like I want to say Uber put them out in the street a couple of times just to test it out and all that. Mm-hmm. And Uber's one of those companies like we're rich, we'll deal with the consequences later. Like they had a couple of their self-driving cars actually got into accidents with buses because they didn't take into account the way bus drivers drive. And now that like at least once a week, I'll see one of those like it's because it's a guy driving, but so the thing's learning the way the guy drives, but it has all this equipment attached, this little spinny thing around the top of it. So yeah. I'm just like, oh my god, this is what this guy has to do all day. This guy just drives around town, letting the robot scan everything and take the way how he drives, how he moves around certain things. Just like, gee, now that's a horror movie waiting just to happen right there. We got this self-driving car. Turns out one of our original testers was a serial killer. So it's like driving the way he drive.
Like Grand.
Oh no, it's infected all of them.
On the sidewalks.
Yeah. Exactly.
Even though it's one of those ones, there's always those people that, like, the second that one of those self-driving cars crashes, they're like, see, that's what we got to get rid of them. And it's like, no, that's just like everything else in life. There's that trial and error period. We just got to get past. Because I'm all for the self-driving car. I think that's the greatest invention fucking ever.
Because, my thing is, like, I don't know. I mean, I totally get the point of it. I'm just kind of like, I know there's going to be that period. Whenever some new invention comes out, something that is going to better, the company knows, like, all right, we got to prepare a press statement, like, years in advance because we know someone is going to, like, Pokemon Go, for instance. That's not nearly as big of a jump, of course. But it's just like, they had something planned. Like, okay, eventually some stupid fucking kid's going to walk out in the street, get hit by a fucking semi. And that didn't happen exactly, but a girl walked down the street, got hit by a car, and it was just
Did somebody walk off a cliff or something like that?
I overheard that. I'm not sure.
I don't know if that's true. See, that's the thing, though. Some of these things could be rumors for all we know. Like, yeah, the kid, he stepped off a curb, but they turned it into, like, telephoned it out to being, oh, he walked off a cliff.
There's one where they actually interviewed him. It was just like it was a total kind of like, you know, redneck in the pool kind of mom. And then you had like the daughter who was like some 14-year-old kind of like buck teeth, like, no, it's that Pokemon game. It wasn't my fault. Game wanted me to cross the street to catch the Pokemon. And my thing about that is that anybody, she says, it's not my fault. It's just that goddamn Japanese devil game. And
it's the Japs' fault. That's what I say.
We need to go back to World War II with them. Show them how it's really done. Like, all right, let's wait. Let's back away. No, she was.
You know, when I see a couple Japanese people in the aisle, I steer clear of that one.
I just go around. I don't need my Oreos just yet.
I don't want that Jap stank on me. She's like, geez, this lady's now got the microphone, and now she's just really expressing herself.
She's literally grabbed it from the.
You know that mom was probably like, okay, honey, what you're going to do is you're going to be playing the Pokemon game, and Mama's going to push you out in front of the street, and we're going to make a lot of money.
We're going to sue the Japan.
We're going to sue them Japs. You know how much money they got, right? I mean, hell, we had to pay already for all your Nintenders, so expect this. You know, we're just getting our money back. It's our civic American duty. Come on, Betsy, get your ass out there. Mom, I don't really want. Betsy, you better get your ass out there. Mama don't want to work no more.
Oh shit! It's a Mercedes. Go.
Just big boots are into it.
I know.
And the guy's like, "Oh, I'm so glad I got my Mercedes self-driving." Oh, fuck! Just fucking. It's like he's just got. Maybe he's eating like fucking sushi in the car. Like, this is the greatest thing ever. I can eat and drive at this. Oh God, there's somebody.
Chopsticks and all.
Yeah, fucking flying up in the air, like stabs him in the eye, like ah, bleeding out.
Yeah, it's that Pokemon Go fault. No, I know that's not very top. I know it's like very of the moment, but no. I remember like when they when it happened, like Nintendo literally came out, was just like, look, we apologize. We recommend you be safe. That's why we have a picture of someone playing the game while a Gyarados is about to attack him. So keep that in mind. That was foreshadowing. That was a warning. And the other thing about that is, I removed it from my phone just because the thing would take up so much memory. And once I realized,
it takes up like a gig almost.
It took up so much memory. And then once I realized, you have to capture the same thing a lot of times in order for it to get like higher level or whatever. And plus the battling system is just like tapping and swiping. I was like, oh fuck that! I thought it was gonna be like an RPG. What was I gonna say? Fuck. What was it? Anyway, anybody who's played the game, you don't even need to cross the street. If you see the fucking thing, you just click it. That's all you gotta do. You don't gotta look at the thing crossing the street, moving around and try and catch it. You literally just have to the thing will appear on the screen when you're near it, and then you push a button. You click it, and then you're there. So this whole thing, it made me cross the street. Like, oh, you stupid motherfucker. They're smart enough to know not to like put it out like, out in the middle of the ocean, the middle of nowhere, you know?
Yeah, because you can't really technically get them outside of cities and towns. So
yeah.
It's one of those, because I remember like the first day, I'm like, oh, this will be awesome. I'll go fucking take a jog and be like playing Pokemon Go. And it's like, oh yeah, you can't find any of them out like on the trails.
For some reason, Pokemon's really like Starbucks. They really like Union Square.
They really like Walmart. They really like places that involve shopping.
That's so weird that happens. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's one of those games that's like, I mean, it was fun for its like little moment, but they just really need to make it like literally a Pokemon game, and I think it'll be the most amazing thing ever. If all they did was just make it just like every other Pokemon game that's came out, you know, have the exact same battle system, the exact same level up system, and instead just I mean, I'm fine with the way you catch Pokemon like that, and then you should be able to battle your friends and all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know why that's like 2 years later and they still don't have that feature.
For 2 weeks, I kind of like just walked around my neighborhood, just like, let's see what's over here, let's see what's over there. Oh, I heard there was like a Dratini over here or something. I remember like for a friend's birthday, we actually went out to Ocean Beach at night and we're catching like slowpokes and crabbies and like Dragonairs out there, and it was fun. But then like it was one of those things where, okay, that was you done. I'm done too. Yeah, okay, it's killing all the memory of my phone. I got podcasts I got to download.
Yeah, I mean, as well as ones like it is a fun game. I mean, I still have it on my phone just in case. Like, I always feel like one of those days that you get somewhere and you're really bored, you're like sitting in a city and you got nothing else to do. You're like, oh wait a second, I got Pokemon. You know what I mean? So I have it for like that moment. You know, it's always good to have a handful of games on your phone just in case you get stuck somewhere. But like that's kind of like if you do have some friends or something like that, or something that I always thought, like, I know in like some cities they were doing the thing where I don't know if they still do them, but they're doing like, it's the pub crawl with Pokemon. You know, it's like, go get a beer, catch some Pokemon, then go get another beer, catch some Pokemon, and keep going down the street until we're just hammered, fucking drunk, yelling Pokemon out.
Well, you just literally hear like a parade of people like, I want to be the very best. All off key together.
Yeah, exactly. Just marching down the road and everything like that.
That literally happened right by my apartment. That pub crawl, or one of the many.
Yeah, I mean,
literally, literally, because there's like the super bro-y bar right across the street from me, and like the first week Pokemon came out, there's a bunch of people going down the street just singing that song, like, and it was one of those things like. And it was just one of those things where I remember just like, because when you're a kid, there's that period where everyone loved it, and there's that period where everyone, like, not everyone, but most people.
5 dark years.
Yeah, there's that period where all the kids were all like, oh, it's lame. It was the coolest thing in the world like 2 years ago. Now it's the gayest, stupidest fucking thing. I don't care anymore. You know, you get those kids. And then those same guys, because you look at some of these guys, you know, the guy, there was like, there'd be the guys that'd be in the same, like, you know, no fear t-shirts, or like, flat bill monster hats. You know, those were totally those guys. So
they would have made fun of anybody playing Pokemon, because that's what it was. There was those 5 dark years where you had to keep Pokemon inside. You couldn't fucking pull it out like anywhere. Like, you would just be ashamed, and people would look at you differently, and you wouldn't be like allowed to hang out with the regular kids. You know, so you just had to keep it locked up.
I just see this moment where, like, it's this one kid being bullied by a bunch of other people. She's like, "Why do you like Pokemon? Huh? What's so fucking special about it?" The one he just looks up and is like, I want to be the very best. One of their kids steps to the crowd that no one ever was. Like, one of their kids steps to the crowd, to catch them is my real test. You know, then everyone just starts coming in unison. The bully starts to back away like, oh no.
No, our numbers are dwindling. Well, that's just how it was. I just remember, like, when those 5 dark years were kind of over, it was just like somebody brought Pokemon to school, and it was just like, it was this moment where it's just okay, where everybody kind of looked around, you know? It's almost like there was a period where I think there's the handful of kids who are just like, yeah, Pokemon's fucking gay. And then there's the other kids that are like, well, I actually kind of like Pokemon, but I don't want to be excluded from being the popular kids. Yeah, Pokemon is fucking gay, but deep down inside, I hope it comes back. So there was that kind of thing. And then, you know, then there always was the kids like, you know, I still like Pokemon. They're like, yeah, you fucking do. Go eat by yourself, you faggot. So, and nobody wanted to be that kid because they saw that kid get ridiculed, so everybody kind of put the Pokemon away for a moment. And just to see that moment where somebody brings a Game Boy to school and just like, yeah, I'm playing Pokemon. What of it? And then next thing you know, the next day somebody comes to school and there's a couple people with Game Boys. And then all of a sudden everybody's coming to school bringing their Game Boys. And it's like a mixed mash of Game Boys. Some people have Game Boy Advances. Some people have Game Boy Pockets. Some people have Game Boy Colors. There's even people bringing the original Game Boy. That's lots of times showing that they're probably the really poor kid, but that's okay. It was just this unity of Pokemon being brought back.
I like to imagine the first person is like, yeah, I still like it. What of it? Is like Judd Nelson from The Breakfast Club. You know, like denim jacket, cut off sleeves,
fist flying in the air, like Pokemon power.
He's like playing against some kid. He's using like coughing. He's like, smoke up, Johnny, smoke up.
Well, that's literally, if you took the Breakfast Club and you put him in that Pokemon scenario, like, the nerd kid would be the one to be like, yeah, I still like Pokemon. And then, of course, fucking Emilio Estevez would be bullying him. He'd be like, yeah, you fucking fag. That's why I put, like, duct tape on your balls and ripped off your hair.
Did Emilio... Emilio Estevez, the whole thing about his character is
that's the reason why he was in there. Well, he didn't put him on his balls. He put tape, like, on his ass cheeks or something, which just sounds so fucking gay. Like, what are you, like...
But it was one of those things where he did that, but at the same time, he wasn't a usual bully kid. He was one of those kids like, I'm popular, what of it? But to prove it, I had to do this and actually feel bad, and now I'm having a conscience about it. Where Judd Nelson was the guy like, I know you're a kid you're talking about. I did the same thing. That was fucking awesome. But he doesn't care. He didn't do it to be popular. He just did it. The nerdy freak girl, she has no problem admitting she loves Pokemon. That's the coolest shit to her.
And that's why she's ridiculed. That's why nobody talks to her.
Emilio Estevez and 16 Candles. What's her name?
Molly Ringwald.
Molly Ringwald. They're both kind of like, oh, no. And then she's like, well, actually, truth be told, I kind of like Clefairy. I kind of like her just a little bit. And, you know, John Nelson, he likes it, but he's like, oh, man, I got a Dragonite, I got a Muck, I got a Charizard, I got a Rhydorn.
You know, like the cool Pokemon. Like, you
yeah.
Fuck that, like, Clefairy shit. Fuck that Mr. Mime.
Only one I start with is Charmander, because he sets shit off, man.
Yeah, exactly. Smoke up, Johnny. You know, it's just
he probably named his Charmander Dio. Probably nicknamed it.
Yeah, exactly, something like that. Well, you know, Emilio Estevez's character, he'd be like that. That's like the perfect example of like, you know, like, I didn't want to bully him. I didn't want to break, you know, the nerd's Game Boy, but you know, my friends were kind of peer pressuring, telling me like, yeah, come on, Pokemon's for faggots. Like what? What, Emilio? You like Pokemon, huh? Are you one of those fags? Like this nerd right here? Break his Game Boy, make him cry and run home. And then tape his ass cheeks up and give him like an anal bleaching. Cause that's what us bullies do. Go on, dude, look at him. He's hairy. He's a fucking nerd. He's not a real person. He looks like a goddamn hobbit. Wait, dude, you know what a hobbit is? No, I didn't read those books.
Fucking loser.
I saw the movie. You mean the animated one? No, I don't fucking watch cartoons. I'm not a fag.
I just see it like a... Like I could just see like the 5 o'clock news, like it's anal bleaching, but the kids are calling it ducking and rolling, or just something like that. How your kids might be involved.
Yeah, your kids might be involved in rip tape. Well, what do they do? Well, they take the nerdy hairy kid and slam him on the ground and hold him down, while one guy pulls his pants down and puts duct tape all over his ass crack and then apparently just rips it off. You know, so, you know, some people pay $70 for this treatment. So at the same time, it's, you know, though it is punishing, it is almost like, you know, maybe it's a civic duty too. We're not too sure. Email your questions in. Do you think this is good or bad? Tom Brokaw out.
The other street name for it is the Forceful Brazilian.
Yeah, exactly. I just always thought that was like the weirdest way. It's like that's how he went to fucking there. It could have
just be beat up. But he could have just beat up a kid in front of another kid. Or that thing is that had to be partially true. Because how? Yeah, because
there's no way that would not been true. That must have been some fucked up like 70s or 80s kid thing. You know what I mean? Because like I try to picture like, dude, the 90s was all about like, dude, you didn't even, like, if you were in the shower, like, at the gym, nobody got fucking naked. It was just, like, you'd be considered a fag if you're that guy that, like, showered naked, you know what I mean? So the idea of...
maybe they'll be in, like, his boxers or swim trunks or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, well, because then there'd always be that one kid who did shower naked, and he'd be, like, in the shower just fucking dancing away, you know? He's got, like, his waterproof headphones on or something like that, and then, like, nobody would be even near the shower at this point. Like, they'd be like, fuck it, I'll go to the rest of the classes sweaty. I don't give a damn.
I remember there was, like, the most popular kid in my graduating class, and he was, let me think, how did I put this? He was one of those guys, like, you know, he was like, you know, star quarterback, and he actually was like part of the popular kids. He was actually nice, and he actually was funny. He was a quick-witted guy, and I remember he was just stretching his power so much. He just like, I overheard him talking to one of his friends, like, fuck it, I'm doing it today. Watch me, I'm gonna fucking do it. And he was literally did that, like, just took a shout, you know, nobody else did, and he just walked around like, hey guys, so, you know, just put his arm against the locker, talking to guy, you know. just trying to just make other guys uncomfortable. And he's like, I'm still gonna be popular by the end of the day, and he was. So
I remember one time at the gym,
guy was hung like a fucking moose though. So you know.
So it worked out for him. So it wasn't like it
was more of an intimidation. It was more of an intimidation thing.
Yeah, exactly. Just like kind of swings it by, just like, did his wiener just slap me on the leg? Well, I better not acknowledge it. Yeah. I remember like at the gym once.
He's like, hey, I'm talking to you. You just lightly swing, just. Oh, hit the side of your thigh. Like, oh, hey man, what's up?
When I was at the gym, there was one time where this guy named Case, who was this like kind of like almost like, I guess you would say like an alpha male type guy, and he comes out, he's like, there's these fucking kids that are in the bathroom and they're just sitting there taking up all that space, just talking to each other, not doing a goddamn thing. You know how it's like sometimes teenagers are when they come to the gym, like they just don't, they fill up more space like talking and hanging out more than they do like working out. And then as far as the restroom goes, they're not even using it. I just told him, like, well, dude, just go in there, rip off all your clothes, and then just stand there looking at him, staring at him. He's like, oh, okay. He goes in there. I kid you not, like 2 minutes later, these kids fucking come all walking out of the restroom. He's like, dude, it worked like perfectly. I'm like, yeah, because all teenagers are very uncomfortable about nudity.
Yeah.
If you ever want to get rid of teenage boys, just get naked.
Careful the place where at. Maybe not their house.
Yeah.
Don't invite them to your place. You know, there's a time and place for it.
Yeah, it's got to be a place though where it's allowed to be naked. You know, there's few places in life where a teenager and an 80-year-old man can be naked together and it's not a problem. That's called the gym.
Please run for office, like just for that, just so someone could play that, like it's like a counter protest ad to you, just like Spencer Scott Holmes says this about your children. If you want to get rid of a kid, just get in front of a teenager, just get naked in front of them.
Keep in mind, teenage boy, not teenage girl. That would be wrong.
I think it's still already a little bit in the kind of the no, I'm not going to say gray area.
Yeah, definitely not there.
Maybe lightish black.
It's just funny to think, though. Like, yeah, there's one place in life where it's like an 80-year-old man and a 15-year-old boy can be naked, and it's not considered anything wrong, and that's called a gym.
Well, plus there's
gotta be like some NAMBLA thing, like, yes, keep the gym alive. It's the only place we got.
This podcast just skyrockets with NAMBLA. I hope we don't have any NAMBLA listeners.
I don't think anybody really does, unless you're like pro NAMBLA pod. I don't think that's. I mean, it exists. I don't think it's just like so like rampant. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god, there's a NAMBLA like riot in the street.
Well, like there's so many
bathrooms for teenagers and men.
I think that's the next thing, because now they're just like, well, what fucking bathroom do you use if you identify as whatever the fuck?
I know, I saw the other day I was at the gas station, the bathroom said, like, unisex, and I was like, or it said something else than that. It said, because unisex sounds like it's anybody, but there used to be a male-female bathroom, and then all of a sudden it's just like, you could just see, and they just put it up like on a sign, like a printed out sign, like, fuck it. We ain't paying for another goddamn, like, plaque. You're getting this paper sign. Use whatever fucking bathroom you want. We don't give a fuck anymore.
It's just a stick figure with his arms up, like, I don't fucking know.
I don't know, just like a dick that goes around, like in a circle,
a dick,
like whatever it is.
It's still a dress, but you just see a dick hanging from underneath it.
Yeah, exactly. And a guy just goes with like his arms out, like fuck if I know what I am.
Give him like some deer antlers, throw it on with it, just in case he identifies as a deer or some shit.
But, you know, it was like, okay, and it was totally like a Middle Eastern, like, gas station, too. So, you know, those guys were like, fuck, are you kidding me? Like, fucking Arco has sent down orders that we gotta change all the size. Are you fucking kidding me?
They sent us a whole pack? No, fuck that. I got a better idea. I'm not spending my day going down to Ace Hardware, getting a new fucking drill, buying screws, and then having to send a receipt just so they can send us the money back. 2 months later, how about this? Fax. Bam. Stapled to the door. It's good enough.
Boom. That's what it is. That's what you're getting.
Someone tears it down, I'll just stick it right back up there. Because you know what? I have more paper. It's fine.
Yeah. Whatever. And if they tear it down, big fucking whoop. You know, as long as the big Arco man, as long as Mr. Arco doesn't show up and take a look, I think we're fine. But no, I just thought that was kind of weird. I was just like, I just remember looking at it. I was confused. Like, I didn't know which one I was supposed to go in. I'm like, this isn't me. That's all I thought. I'm like, do I fit in this category?
I just imagine just like, would there be like, you know, like children's stories, like this is, you're like, are you my mother? Just like a little baby bird, like going from different animal to different animal. Like, I just remember just seeing not just some like, is this bathroom for me? Just like a little like kid, like 8-page storybook. picture book.
Yeah, exactly. Like trying to say like who you are, who this person is. Like, why does that sign have a dress with a huge cock hanging out?
Can I go in this bathroom? The kid peeking into like a bathroom with just with a bunch of ladies. Like, no, this bathroom's not for you unless you identify as that. I don't know. I'm not going to get too politically correct here, or vice versa. But
I don't know. Us normal folks, though, these signs are confusing. That's all I have to say.
Us normal folks.
You know what I mean? Us people that have been using regular bathrooms for the last 30 years. Where the fuck are we supposed to go?
I don't know. You'd even hear the counter argument, like, what? So let me get this right. A man turns himself into a woman, and you're just okay with that person sharing the same bathroom as your daughter? It's like, I mean, I don't care, really. It's like, is that a real fucking debate? I don't know. Maybe unless
how big's his cock? It's like, is that really what you want to know? Yeah, I just want to know. That's the threat level meter. Because probably if it's really small, he might be really rapey. We don't know.
Yeah. He has a lot of bent up aggression against the world.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's a weird one though, but. Those ones that you just don't understand. See, next they're going to have his teenage bathrooms because they're going to,
Yeah, that's where we're going. That's
going to break up that NAMBLA crowd.
It's the age, because that's the thing. It's the age one.
Just has a picture of like a kid with like his hat on backwards, arms crossed, like, yeah, my bathroom. My bathroom, my choice.
Holding a cell phone like it's a selfie or some shit.
Yeah, like it's like he's in there like taking pictures of his dick.
Well, if you had a teenage bathroom, you'd probably just have like a lot more mirrors. People could take mirror selfies and all that type of shit.
And then there's like the next they're gonna have like the senior bathroom. Like everybody's gonna be like separated. There's just gonna be like you're gonna go into like a gas station. There's gonna be like
senior bathroom. Senior bathroom's probably gonna need the most updates, but it's probably the most nicest because they're probably gonna have like heated seats. Like the seat's too cold on my buttocks. All right, Wilheimer, we'll get it
it's
to
like,
you.
I want an ejection button so that when I'm done, I press it and I don't even have to stand up. It just launches me up.
Yeah, or
I want a robot to come by and jerk me off and wipe my ass all at the same time.
I want that Charmin paper. It's good because those bears really fucking like it.
Yeah, you gotta trust a bear now. A bear knows what's going on in life.
I'm a bear. Ah, I didn't mean like you.
You see this poor guy's like, I just wanted to run a gas station. I thought it'd be an easy job. Now I got fucking 8 restrooms to maintain. Like, I'm more of a restroom stop than I am anything else. You know what? For all I know, I should just have a bunch of porta potties out back because that seems like that would be easier. Make it like a concert.
I guess that was the thing. Like, I wonder if there is ever that person. They go to a concert and they get to the porta potties like, oh no. Walks over to like some guy who's not even like running the thing. It's just like a security guard. Excuse me, do you work here? This porta potty. What? I need a real restroom.
A real restroom.
That does not say unisex. Does not say men. Does not say women. Does not say zer. Does not say burr, ver. All the different adjectives. I need a specifically identified restroom right now. I wonder if that's ever happened by this point. Like, all we got is the porta potties. You can go ahead and just use whichever one. But, I need my special identifying bathroom that's for me. I wonder if they ever had that at all.
Oh, they probably do. There's probably like just ones like, just use any of them. They are all the same for everybody. They're communist restrooms. Oh, communist. It's like, oh, God, I didn't know he was a gay Republican. Just like now I got.
I wasn't even trying to like add like an orientation. That's how a lot of it always sounds to me.
Yeah, just like God. I mentioned the word communism and he's all against it. All up in arms.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's goofy, but
weird and wacky world that we live in.
I know.
I noticed this. I'm going to just totally drive this conversation in a different direction because I know we both got up. We really didn't get a chance to talk. You talk about. I haven't heard the whole show yet, but I've heard you talk to it briefly about with Brazel, very briefly. But Sonic Mania, we both got that.
Oh yeah, and we sort of did record something once on one of the other episodes. It was like the after we were done part, and then I was like, I didn't know really where to use it. It was only like 15 minutes long, but. Yeah, I know. Sonic Mania, and it's one of those ones, like, as big Sonic fans, obviously, if you go back through time, you'll see that Not as much Batman, because I was like flipping through our old episodes, because yesterday was like Batman Day. Because it was the 25th anniversary of Batman the Animated Series, so I was like, oh fuck, I better start sharing some more Batman shit. And then I just started looking around, like, damn it, like every like 5 episodes has like Batman in the title almost.
It's like, take a pick.
Yeah, exactly. So I just, it was perfect because I released the Batman Harley Quinn one like right on that day. And then I just, shared some of the other Batman ones, like our Mask of Phantasm retrospect and some drunk Batman things and so on. But, so yeah, like Sonic Mania, Sonic being one of our other big topics, if you look throughout time, Sonic's name appears probably at least like 20 plus times. But
and just to clarify, when we say we're Sonic fans, we mean like real Sonic fans for like the
hardcore
right
Sonic fans
for the right reason, not the DeviantArt kind of reason.
Oh yeah, not I call that modern Sonic fans. I feel like there's kind of like retro Sonic fans, and that's not saying you don't like the modern games. It's just saying like you started off with like Genesis CD era and you went on, and then there's the modern fans. I feel like you started off from like Sonic Adventure time period and you went up, and there's almost like a big difference between those two people. Mm-hmm. But Sonic Mania, to me, what it feels like is it's literally like Mario or New Super Mario Brothers, but for Sonic the Hedgehog. Though I will say I like it more than New Super Mario Brothers. But my only slight kind of complaint to it is, even though it's as far as a game goes, it's pretty much perfect. There's actually nothing to complain about. My only complaint, though, is that I just wish there wasn't so much like remake levels. Like, that's my only thing, is like there's way more remake levels than there is brand new levels. And as a hardcore Sonic fan, it's like, well, one's like, I'd rather just see all new stuff. That's why I love Sonic the Hedgehog Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 2. Is it only has 6 levels, but all 6 of those levels are brand new. And I think that's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, this right here, I mean, Sonic's been kind of real hit and miss with me, and I bought this game as soon as it came out because I knew it was going to be good. I knew that it was, well, it's a 16-bit, or not really 16-bit, but it's made to look in that 16-bit style game, and it just looks fun. It looks like it was all the reasons you like the old school Sonic games. And like you said, there is no real major problem with the way the game is. It's just, it's kind of, this totally is made for nostalgia, which I think that's part of Sonic's charm, but it's also something they're relying too hard on, because not every Sonic game, but just about every Sonic game, or every other Sonic game seems to be like, here's kind of another version of the Green Hill Zone.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's one of those ones like, okay, like when they did in Sonic Adventure 2, when there was that bonus level of Green Hill Zone, and it was
cool.
3D. That was
really
fucking
cool.
Awesome. And I'll say this: if something like Sonic Generations and Sonic Episode 4, or Sonic 4
one or the
Episode
other.
1, yeah, if those two didn't really exist, maybe Sonic Mania wouldn't be so like that. Wouldn't bother me nearly as much. And as I said, it's a very light complaint, but I felt like we've already seen the games that kind of did the thing, like, remember these levels? So it felt kind of weird to do that another time, like, remember these levels? And here's the thing, though. At least, I will say, at the same time, the boss battles, they're all brand new still. They're not like the same boss battle. So I'm glad that happened there. It's not like they're rehashing that. And the thing is after about the first, like, 2 minutes of, like, not even that long, after about the first, like, 30 seconds of running through the level, even though it has the same aesthetic look and the same music, it is a completely different level. So, I mean, like, I will give it that kind of credit. So, by that standard, if let's just say this is Sonic the Hedgehog 5, because that's how I kind of look at it as, I'm assuming that, okay, well, yeah, if he's running through Mobius, he's going to run through the same place again at some point. This is my only way to, like, I have to find a way to make it, like, why is this happening? So, he's running through Mobius again, and, in the last 25 years or so, some of these areas have changed a bit. So, though they look the same, they're 25 years in the future. So, it's different. That's how I kind of look at it. That's my only way to justify it.
Well, they had, like, the more modern Sonic games always have cutscenes with dialogue. This one still has cutscenes, but it's not really all, dialogue based. It's almost very much old-fashioned Genesis stuff. And there's some kind of new emerald that plays around with time, and maybe it mixes stuff up together and matches different things, and it even kind of pulls from Generations in the aspect, because there is a part because the original Green Hill Zone, as you go through that, it is what it is if you play the game. You play Generations, though, at some point you're kind of in these underground cavern type area, and this totally pulls from that but puts it in like 16-bit. I like this game more than Generations. I think this game is, because
I definitely do too.
Because Generations, even though that was probably the last really good, like, 3D Sonic game, Um, yeah, that was probably like the last good 3D Sonic game in my opinion. I feel like it's actually, this one's made by fans, so they kind of know what they want. Where before, the other Sonic games would be like, it was either made by people who thought they knew what the fans wanted, so they're trying to figure out what they wanted, or they'll be like, you know what? Throw a werewolf in there. I don't know why. Let's just see what fucking happens.
Yeah, exactly. So they have that kind of thing where, at least Sonic Mania. I mean, here's the thing: it's like I think there's 6 new levels in total, maybe 4.
Let's see. There's studio. Well, even like the new levels, they're kind of like. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this is a negative. The new levels, they're still kind of like alterations, or not alterations, but kind of you can see they're inspired. Like Studio Opolis is meant to be kind of like the 3rd level from Sonic 1.
Like a casino level.
Or a casino level. Yeah, like that kind of vibe to it. Which I really don't like casino levels that much in Sonic, but I really like Studiopolis in this game.
Yeah.
And then you get the saloon kind of like Western level.
That level's really cool.
Yeah, especially that's a deep cut, because I was literally surprised by it. I didn't want to spoil it for you, but there's like there's one robot that takes the form of Knack the Weasel, Bean the Dynamite, and Bark the Polar Bear, which is like, Jesus Christ, that is very, very deep cuts.
Uh-huh. No, like that level was really awesome, even though I remember I got so pissed like on that flying level, because there was a couple of moments where Sonic would just like fall off the fucking plane. Like, why does he fall off the fucking plane? It's like, how am I supposed to be moving around? Like, it's like, that never happened in Sonic 2. He just randomly walked off the plane. Like,
there's still a couple glitches, and like that never happened to me, but I've heard about
like
that
3 times. It was like, dude, what?
It never happened to me.
It's the very end. I think you just got to like not move at all. Like when it's getting down like to the train, I think it's one of those ones. It's like the glitch is that you're getting ready to jump off, but it makes that jumping off point come like too soon. So there's a couple enemies, and it's like if you move too fast, Sonic falls off. But other than that, though, it's like that level's really cool. And then, there's a couple other ones in there, too. There's, like, I think a snow one. I want to say was another one. And it's like that stuff, to me, whenever it's a brand new level, the game's pure amazing. Like, 5 out of 5 is perfect as you can get game. And then it's like, when they do, like, the kind of the old levels, like, I'll say this, okay, Green Hill Zone, I get that. Like, that should have been, in my opinion, that should have been the only, like, old level, was just, like, the game starts you off on something you totally remember, but then goes brand new as it goes on. But instead, it's like they kind of pick weird levels. Like, I remember like when they picked like the 2nd level to Sonic 2, and they said like, yeah, it's like number 1 fan favorite level is that 2nd level. I'm like, who the fuck likes that level? Like,
people like the song.
Even as a kid, I never liked that level. That was like
you never liked Chemical Plant Zone.
That's like my least. Sonic 2 is my favorite game. That's my least favorite level in that game. I kid you not. Like the Chemical Zone, and maybe it's also too. It's like it's literally the 2nd level, so you see it way more off. That's why I started to think. I'm like, well, you know what? Why people probably like it so much is because they never got that far in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, so they just like the 2nd level because that's like, oh, I got to the 2nd level, I'm doing good, and that's probably like as far as they got. But
I just hate that part when you get to like where the chemicals are rising and you have to jump
like you gotta jump on the blocks,
and the things can kind of sometimes crush you. I just hate that part so much. I always hated that part because it's like it's not slow, it's not fast. I just have to get through this part, jump from this, jump from that. Oh no, I'm drowning. Oh, I crashed. Okay, fuck it.
Yeah, and it's one of those ones, it's not that I, like, it's not a level that, like, I dislike, but I just don't look at it being like, oh my god, like, I mean, my personal favorite level in Sonic 2 is Hilltop Zone, and I think that's got the best song in it, too, but obviously that one's probably not a fan favorite. And then some of the other ones, like, you choose, you choose the Oil Zone level, too. It's like,
I hate the Oil Zone. I mean, it's at that level right there, I'm not, I might get a lot of hate for saying this. I never liked that level back in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And the thing about this game is, Sonic the Hedgehog, back when it was made, the first 4 games, they were made by, like, people, alright, kids be playing this, don't make it that hard. These guys know adults, probably more adults are playing this game than kids. So they made the game a lot harder in this one, I thought.
Really? I think it's about the same difficulty as any Sonic game.
I feel like it's a little harder in aspects, because it's more of, like, certain things about it to me, at least. I don't know. I'm not going to lie. I'm horrible at video games. But to me, it seems a little harder in some aspects because I notice, to me, Sonic games, it would be more like you might die from like an enemy or you might die from other things like that. Where I thought a lot of this game, it was more like like there's the last level, mech, where you're kind of going through that city Robotnik runs, and it's more of like it's more of an obstacle course thing. You got to go through the little like spinning balls that fling you up into the, like get on the other like gravity spinny ball thing, and then there's springs there that you have to get through very carefully to get to the next spot. Like that kind of stuff always fucked with me and always like pushed me back on time. You know what I mean? Like those kind of things. Like I don't remember seeing a whole lot of challenges like that back in the original Sonic games.
Really? Like in all the old Sonic games, like the last level mostly always like that. It's always pretty tough.
There's stuff like that. I remember there's stuff like that, but for no reason. Maybe it's been a while. I remember this one just seemed a lot harder to me, and like it was always more of like time was the thing I was kind of worried about near the end of this, rather than getting killed by something. So at least on like the later levels of this game. But the thing that I just what kept on fucking me on the on this version of the oil plant zone was the fucking octopus thing. That fucking
the middle boss?
No, not the middle boss. The last boss of the oil rig.
Because I remember you were telling me how hard that one was, and then like I rushed to that level. Like I don't think I had really any problems. I was trying to figure out the whole time. Like, what was the thing that Ryan had such a hard time with in this level?
Because what happened with me, I'm not gonna lie, folks. I suck at video games, so it could just be me. But the thing about the oil, because what happened is when he's in the stupid little fucking octopus robot, it would wrap around the platforms you're on, and if you just happen to be on that platform, it would just pull you down, and that's instant death. Or if it's submerged and you were by it, it's kind of like treating like a crush, so instant death, like that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to think. Because for some reason I thought it had like
it was weird.
That
there was
boss
times
was kind of like the octopus boss in number 2, where it shot like the arm across.
The arm and the
fire.
Yeah, that was all doable. That's all easy. But you'd have to jump in and attack the thing and have to get close.
Yeah.
And it's weird. There are several times I had so much trouble, and there's another time where I just got through it so easily. I can't.
Weird how that happens.
Yeah, and it's one of those things like I feel like if you are playing with Tails, it is kind of like easy mode to an extent because he can collect more rings for you, and he
sometimes
attacks.
gets a second hit too in there.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things where I remember that actually. That took me several tries. Like, you motherfucker! Because I got through the rest of the level fairly easy. It was just always that part. And then then it would be something stupid. Like the thing submerged right when I was like right by it, or the platform pulled down, and I didn't know that would kill me the first time around. So it would always be something like that. And then I finally beat it. I was like, "Fuck you, motherfucker! Fuck you!" You know, I like just got that full on like not like rage quit, but that primal like I fucking conquered you, asshole! Fuck off! You know.
I think the boss that always gave me the most trouble in that one was the stupid Metal Sonic boss, where you gotta like fling the robots at him. And he's always shooting the goddamn laser at you at the exact same time as you're flinging it, so it's like...
That one didn't give me trouble. I beat that guy in one try.
Yeah, like, well, I played through it a couple times, so... Like, I don't know, when I played through it with Knuckles, I had such more harder time than I did with, like, Sonic and Tails. I don't know why.
Probably because Tails gets that extra hit in.
Maybe that made it easier, but it's like, God, it's like, you know, you hit it, it's like, if you don't get it timed right, then it shoots the wrong direction. And then at the same time, you know, the first couple hits are never bad. It's once you get to like the last 2 hits, because he keeps shooting that laser at you, so you're almost bound to get hit as you're jumping up, because it's like all timed at the same moment. Like that boss was kind of like, I think that being the most obnoxious boss in the whole game so far. But
because I noticed they do like in every other thing. Like here's a reboot of a boss that from a classic Sonic game. And then they do, or here is like a brand new boss, and there's like I like the one at the reef, when the lava reef, where there's the guy on the motorcycle just like swinging like some big ass like ball on a chain coming after you. I like that boss. That boss is pretty fun.
Well, the nice thing is there's very little of the reboot bosses. Like it's like that's why I was kind of glad, because I thought there was just going to be it's just going to have the same boss as like the old ones. Like, oh no, it's completely different.
I thought it was interesting how like Robotnik, I'm like, okay, what are we going to do with Robotnik? Oh, Puyo Puyo Pop, doing a reference to Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. Okay.
I thought that was awesome. I'm like, that's so cool right there. Like there is things in this game that are just pure amazing. I just hope with whatever the second one they make is they don't do any more of like the remake levels. Just 100% brand new. I don't think that will be the case, because there'll be people like, oh, you know what, they should remake now. It's like, oh, you little fucks. But whatever. You know, I mean, it's no different than new. I keep looking at like, you know, New Super Mario Brothers. I mean, that's kind of how that game was. Is that game, you know, you go to play that, like, let's just say the DS one, the original one that came out. technically the levels were more like, oh, look, it's Mario in, like, the overworld zone, but now he's got some extra abilities and things like that. It was kind of the same game over, just newly refreshed, I guess you could kind of say.
Mm-hmm.
Where, once again, I like this one way more than New Super Mario Brothers. I think it's like New Super Mario Brothers, because even when that game came out on the DS, it was cool, but I always thought the pinnacle of Mario as far as platforming goes was 3 and World, and that game kind of just focused more on, like, before 3 and World. It had elements, like, little elements, but not, like, tons of elements until, later on in the series.
Well, it's crazy how Worlds, there's actually kind of less in that game, but something about it seems so much bigger or more, like, I don't know what it is. Something about World, just, because I liked Mario Brothers 3 when I was a kid, but World was, like, that's essential, because, Mario was one of those things, when I was a little kid, most of my life, I've loved Mario, but when I was a little kid, I was like, oh, I like Mario, and then I played Mario, then I saw, before I even played it, when I saw Mario World, it became one of my favorite things, just some of the aesthetic and the look of the game just drew me in, and it's kind of weird, because it's like, what do you got in this? Well, you got the Fire Flower, like always, you got the cape, and then you got Yoshi, and then everything else, it's like, oh, but then, like, the other ones, it's like, you got a fucking outfit for every fucking day of the week. Have fun. Oh, this is Ice World. This is Fire World. This is fucking Cave World. Yeah. There's Giant World. Yeah, and then, but then it's just like, you get to Mario World, it's just like, oh, no, it's all on an island. Just have fun. And just something about that, I don't know why, because
it's weird. That's where I feel like the hardcore, like, person who got Mario 3 when it came out, I could see where they might have played World and went like, it's kind of a lesser... it's fun, but it's not like Mario 4 I was expecting. Where, for me, it's like, I probably played World before I played 3. I don't know. That's such a tough call. Because I played both those ones really early. I'm, like, trying to think back. I remember playing... God, I might have played... Who knows, but still.
I definitely played 3 before. It was weird, because for a long time... I remember before I played video games, I watched my brother play Nintendo all the time, and I didn't know for a long time, because I knew of Mario from the cartoon, so I remember watching him play Super Mario Brothers 3, and not realizing it was Mario, because his overalls are black. So, like, I'd always see this Mario game, like, when are you going to play this Mario game? Like, dude, I was playing that earlier today. Like, no you weren't! And then, like, I realized, oh, wait, that's Mario. Oh! His overalls are black for some reason. Okay. Because, it was blue in the other ones. I wasn't the smartest kid. I'm still not the smartest adult.
Which one does he have black overalls in?
Because when you play the game, when you play the original Nintendo, he has black overalls in the pixels.
I don't remember that at all.
Look it up. He has, like, black... Here, one... Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. I got something that's going to jog your memory. Hold up. 1 second. Yeah, here.
Okay, what are you
familiar?
getting?
No, I got this Mario, it's this pixel light up thing, but it's made to look exactly like the pixel, black and red. See?
Well, in the Mario 3 cover, he has blue overalls.
He has blue overalls, but in the original NES game, I mean, when they brought the Super Nintendo, it was blue, but the original NES game, it was black and red.
Well, yeah, I know the Super Nintendo one is blue, but I could have swore on that. I guess it is kind of blackish. I guess it could be considered a dark blue at the same time.
Oh, motherfucker, don't pull that shit. Don't pull that shit. That is fucking black. That is red and black.
It's definitely black. But I feel like on the game, it all depends on...
Oh, don't. In your own perspective, in your own view of life. It depends on your TV set. You may view that as black. Others may view it as blue. Fuck that shit. It was black.
I guess it is sort of black. I don't know. I had a black and white TV as a kid, so everything was black.
Okay. But it's just, I guess that's gonna be like this whole new world thing. Like, wait, what? Luigi's green?
It would have been, because except for I didn't have a regular Nintendo when I had a black and white TV. I just had a Genesis, but still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like, that's always like that one you tell somebody, it's like, I had a black and white TV. That was the first TV I had when I was a kid.
Back when I played my first Super Nintendo. Yeah. Now I'm looking this up because I got, like, is my memory lying to me right
Hopefully
here?
that doesn't jack your recorder.
Oh, shit. That's actually a good point. It's still recording. Cool. Yeah, I got this very, very touchy recorder, folks. So, yeah. I'll just leave that alone then. But, yeah.
But, yeah, so, yeah. Yeah, I guess Mario. Yeah, Mario's overalls. I think it's one of those ones, like, it's that kind of weird thing, like, you see the cover, you see all that kind of stuff, you kind of like in your mind it just sort of switches it to like what it should be. Like it's like it fixes it for you. Like your brain's like, we know what it really is.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, I just for a long time I know when you're a kid, everything seems like a long time. So it was probably like a month, and then I realized, oh, that is Mario. It's probably something literally like that. Anyway.
Yeah. Might have been a week for all you knew, but as a kid, it seemed like a big week.
Yeah, when you're a kid, it just like a month seems like an eternity, you know. Then like when you get older, it's just like, oh, that was like, oh, you sure? Was that 3 days? No, that was a fucking month. Oh, Jesus Christ.
But yeah, Sonic Mania though, it overall it is totally awesome. But as I said, like my only slight complaint, I just wish it just had a little bit more brand new levels. But for the most part, they're all really good. And then I also like how you can actually play. There's a 2-player mode in it. You know, I mean, they put time trials. Not like I really care about that, but that's cool that that's there too. And even the special zone, I like how the main special zone is different. I think it's kind of weird that they do the one where you jump into like the checkpoint ring. I don't know why that one's just the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 one. Like I feel like that could have been new. I don't know. That to me just felt kind of lazy. It's like, oh, okay, well. I mean, because everything else is pretty much brand new. Even if it's a rehash level, it's still like brand new. And then that one's just like literally a rehash. Like, well, I mean, yeah, they up it a little bit for fitting on the screen, but that's it.
I think it's interesting where they chose to actually take different parts of Sonic, like how the special stages where you get the emeralds. Those actually look like it's designed kind of after the Sonic CD special stages, but they make them look like it's out of like a early Sega Saturn game.
Yeah, it kind of has almost like Sonic's 3D Blast sort of look too, mixed in with when you played Sonic Jam. Yeah, Sonic Jam, that was one of those things where it just like, cause I remember, here's what I was told Sonic Jam was. It was like, okay, it's Sonic 1 through 3 and Knuckles, and get this, they got a game in there where you play as Sonic in 3D. I'm like, what? So I thought, I was like, okay, so you're getting the originals and a 3D Sonic game? You're blowing my fucking mind! And I went over to my friend's place to play it, and then I'm like, you lying cocksucker. No. You're running as Sonic through a museum. Like, and it was just one of those things where it just felt to me, I get it. They're experimenting. They're trying to build up to Sonic Adventure. That was a test. But the thing about it was, it felt so like trying to play that. It was just like you trying to have fun. Like, yay! I can run in this little boxed area. There's nothing to kill. Yeah, it wasn't that great.
There's a spring. Oh, look, I can ride with Tails and fall to the ground. Oh, I can go talk to Knuckles and then like
Can't
leave.
Play as him.
I'm just here. And oh, look, I can run, but okay. I remember just feeling like it was one of those things where it's just like not like going to the theme park. It's like, do you remember, this is gonna be like some people don't even know what this is. Remember Tiny Toons? Oh.
Now, do you mean Tiny Toons the game or the show?
Tiny Toons the show. There's that episode where it's basically the Tiny Toons summer movie, and it's like 3 different stories about like the different main Tiny Toons going on like an adventure like during summer, and by the time they get back, it's time to go back to school. Remember, there's one which whatever the Daffy Duck ripoff character, he's going with the Porky Pig ripoff character's family, and it's basically a parody of Vacation. And they're going to, it's kind of weird because they at some point were talking about making like a vacation cartoon for children, which is so weird when you think about it. Like,
well, it's like the movie's rated R, but it's one of those movies, I feel like it's just rated R for being more like real life rated R, not necessarily like it's rated R to be rated R. If that makes any sense, like, you know what I mean? Because like the moments that make it kind of rated R always kind of feels like well, that's like a real moment. Like when Dad flips out and just starts swearing and just starts yelling at everybody. Well, that's a real moment, you know what I mean? And then it's, I guess since like they're we already got swearing in there, I guess we could throw some titties in there too.
The tits and the swearing are like the only 2 parts that really make it R, which is so weird. It's kind of like, because it feels like it could be a family movie if it wasn't for those 2 parts.
Yeah.
But anyway, they or they're like, fuck you, cracker, or whatever that is, or roll 'em up, that whole part. But,
oh yeah. He's like,
fuck your mama.
Yo, fuck your mama.
It's like a couple of things. Like, yeah. Well, it's like, well, anyway, there's the part where they go to whatever theme park, and they finally get there. It's been his whole goal to get to this theme park. And then they just go on the monorail around. And Plucky, that was his name, Plucky. He was super excited. He's like, oh, look, it's that. It's this. It's that. It's that. Like, oh, that was a fun trip, kids. Let's go. They don't even go on any of the rides. Just went on the little monorail that goes around the whole park and just left. He says, you can't be serious. That's all we're doing. That's all we got time for. We'll do it next year. Then
that's the feel of Sonic Jam.
That's the feel of Sonic Jam. It's like you're getting to play in 3D, but it's just like you're in this safe little boxed area where nothing can hurt you. There's no danger, and it's just... I mean, don't get me wrong. The collection itself is great. And I remember that even gave, like... That was also one of those things like, what other things await us in the strange, epic country of Japan? Because they had, like, a link to the... they had a link to the Sonic the Hedgehog, like... anime movie, which I guess probably wasn't out by then, but like a trailer to it. So it was this thing like, dude, there's this amazing looking Sonic movie anime that's in Japan and it's not here yet, and oh my god, I can only imagine how amazing that show must be. And then like it gets here like it feels like so many years later, probably like maybe 4 or 5 years later, and when it gets here around Dreamcast era, you're like, oh, all right.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those ones like, it's not as good. I think with Sonic Jam, though, it's like... Because it also, too... I mean, even if you take it as a collection, it's like it only has Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles. I wish it had, like, Sonic CD on it, or, like... The one game that I'm always so surprised it never appears on any collection... Yeah, Knuckles Chaotix, like, that's never on anything. It's like, why is that game not on there? It's like, I don't know if maybe there's like one of those ones like, well, you know, we had this company make that game, and yeah, somehow, some way he ran away with the rights to it, so yeah, bad part on us, Sega. Well, you know how that goes. Old Gil was in charge of that one. I just don't know, because it's one of those ones like, it's either that, or maybe it's too, for some reason they have a hard time emulating a 3... They can't have a fucking hard time emulating a 3.2. If one fucking nerd out there can make emulators for every goddamn PC on a 3.2X, there's no way there's not some fucking nerd in Sega that can't do the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, I always hate when they give you that kind of bullshit excuse when the company's like, well, you know, we're having a hard time emulating. Like, it's your own goddamn game. If fucking, like, some guy that doesn't go by his real name on the internet's making, like, all these games totally work fine... What the hell is your deal?
I remember when Sonic Mega Collection came out for GameCube, and I was talking to this one guy, and you know, everyone has that one. You said that one nerd emulator thing, but like, everyone has that one friend that's that tries to act like. I mean, I know we do. I know I do sometimes, but he tries to act like he knows what he's talking about when he really doesn't, you know? I mean, I'm not going to lie. I go with more of an estimated guess. But then you have that guy who realizes he's in a corner and he can't get out of it, but he just buckles down. It just goes head on in, you know?
Yeah, goes with it.
Yeah, it just goes with it. I'm not fucking backing down. I already said this. And I remember I said, like, oh, yeah, Sonic Mega Collection, it's really cool. I wish that you could almost kind of, like, just... Because the only game you could save on is, like, Sonic and Knuckles, so... I really wish they kind of like, you know, it's modern day. Might as well just maybe be able to save on other levels. You know, we're already there. He says like, well, what are the other games on there? I list them off. I'm like, Sonic 3D, Sonic 3D Blast, Genesis version, and he's like, oh, that's probably pushing the GameCube to its limits. I'm like, no. Well, it's 3D, so it's got to be in there with all these other games. Probably can't handle it. Like, no. I mean, it's more like composite. It's not. I don't really know. I don't know computer linguistics all that well, but I can tell you right now that's not the case. And he's like, yeah, well, like they made fucking Wind Waker. They made fucking Wind Waker. A Genesis era game is not gonna push fucking like Sega to its limits. He's like, oh well, you know, because. Different compiling, a different kind of graphic unit. Yeah, I'm just like, okay, dude, we're done.
We're just done. Get the fuck out. Yeah, another one always says that. There's just like those people they just want to find a way to put down Nintendo no matter what. But
there was that one.
That's always kind of. Well, because there was of course there was the main 4 games on there, and then they had. You could unlock. Is that the one you could unlock Ristar on? I think.
You might Baby Shaker. Yeah.
yeah. You could unlock Ristar. You could unlock Flicky. And I think that was about it. I don't think they had anything else. Like, Sonic Mega Collection feels like it was this really big game, but when I think back on it, it's like, it's really just like Sonic Jam Plus.
I think that because the thing about Sonic Jam is that was like one generation behind. So
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it's not that far behind. And then also, the cool thing about Sonic fucking Mega Collection is it had special features and things like that. It had artwork, and it had kind of like those bonus things in it. And then it was cool because then they made, like, because at first I remember that my first thing, I was like, well, why isn't Sonic CD on here? What the hell? Like, if you're going to exclude a game, why is that game always getting excluded? And then they finally put it in, like, in the second version where
Gems
like,
Collection.
Sonic Gems Collection. And that one was cool because you got the Fighters game, because it's like one of those ones, like, you could just not find that, like, anywhere to save your life, it seemed like. And then it had Sonic CD, had Sonic R, which, you know, whatever. Yeah, cool, it's on the collection. But the only thing on that one, too, is like, well, why isn't fucking Sonic or Knuckles Chaotix on here? Where the hell's that game at?
I'm kind of wondering if they're like, I don't know, maybe you can tell me, but I've played just a little bit of it, but is that one of those games you think they're maybe a little ashamed of? Because it's something that game got a little bit of shit for. We're just like, okay, look, you're running with these two characters, but you gotta stop right here. We're on this platform. Open the gate. Use that character. Keep going. Oh, another platform. So you're using that character. Use the character. Okay, going on. So it was one of those things like, we're trying to teach them teamwork. Like, yeah, we can just make them move fucking fast, too.
Yeah, I mean, it does have like the thing where they're kind of strapped together. I mean, it's a little weird. It's not like it makes the game bad or anything like that. Mm-hmm. You just gotta get kind of used to it and things like that. But
and I'm only going off the first two levels I played. That's all I'm going off. Just the first two.
It's
zones.
One of those ones like, it's just that kind of thing. I just feel like it's a collection. It's like that should be on one of them. Like, why not? Or even like when they did the even better collection, which was the Sega Genesis collection on Xbox and PS3. And it's one of those ones, like, I really hope that game, since Sonic Mania came out, it's like, put that backwards compatible on Xbox One. That'd be amazing, because that's one of the coolest fucking games. Because all the versions of there are, like, they're, like, the best versions of those Genesis games. Like, they look so amazing. You can save in every single game. It was, like, Sega really did a fucking awesome job. But they put some games in there. It's mostly all Genesis games, but there's, like, a couple arcade and a couple Master games, and it's like, can't throw fucking Chaotix on there? What? Come on.
Well, it's even kind of weird how Sega gets with some of that, because like I remember there is I don't remember what the game is called, but it was kind of like there's the proto Smash Brothers, but it was Sega. It was just all Sega characters. And
Fighters Mega Mix.
Yeah, and for some reason, when they got down to Sonic, we're like, yeah. So to acknowledge Sonic the Fighters, we're actually just using Bean and Bark. You mean you're not using Sonic, Tails, or Knuckles, the characters everyone knows? No, we're just using these two random characters who are in this one game that never, fucking came out anywhere else. Fuck you.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of... Yeah, that was like one of those, like, that game's an amazing game, mainly for the fact that it's just like, okay, you get your Virtual Fighter characters combined with your Fighting Vipers, which is like totally awesome, two amazing games, and then they throw in like, oh cool, there's a Virtual Cop character, there's a couple, I think you could play, I want to almost say you could play Shinobi in it, but I could be wrong. They have a couple other Sega characters you can play as the Daytona racer car, which is kind of like just one of the,
I remember that was just like, it's just a fucking car, it just kind of swings, and isn't like, it's on like its hind legs or something like that. It's on hind wheels, I mean.
The only one weird thing they did is like, why isn't, like, literally, if Sonic was the only character, let's just say you minus out all the other ones, you didn't even have Tails or Knuckles, why isn't it just Sonic? Like, just choose Sonic. What? Like, nobody else. Like, if that's what it's going to be, just one character. I mean, it should be Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. I mean, if you're really smart, it should just be all the characters from, Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, why not? Like, just put them all in there, but still, I don't know. It's a weird choice for a totally awesome game. That's like it's only like one thing. It's like, dude, it's like you had Smash Brothers before Smash Brothers, and I feel like that almost like the one thing that kind of like messed it up just a little bit.
Maybe they're just like, you know what? We got so much confidence in this. Fuck Sonic. Yuji, I fucking said it. Fuck Sonic. Throw in the fucking duck and the polar bear. Okay. I'm not so sure about this. Fucking do it.
That might have been it. I'm not too sure. It could have ended up being one of those weird things like that. So you never know. And the other thing too about like the Sonic's Gem Collection, this sounds like such a weird one. I feel like they should have just thrown in the Sega Saturn Sonic 3D Blast version just for the heck of it, just to have it in there for collection reasons. Because that one it does look much nicer than the Genesis version.
Well, one more time. You kind of got staticky there for a second.
Oh, I just said that. You should have that in the Sonic's Gems collection. It should have had the 3D Blast Saturn version, just because it looks. That one's just a little bit sharper looking and smoother than the Genesis one. And actually, it's more than that. It looks pretty darn good compared to it.
I remember I had one of those friends who had like all the different systems, and the one he had he had a Sonic
3D Blast.
3D Blast for Saturn. I remember watching it was just, and then like it got to the ending, and then just like I remember it played like maybe it wouldn't hold up now, but I remember when he got to the end, it played like this slow, soft pop song. And it was like this girl singing, 'Cause you're my hero, you're my hero. I'm just like, this is like a fucking movie. I was thinking, like, they actually have a Sonic game with lyrics in it. Oh my god. Now it's just like, oh yeah, I don't need the lyrics. We're fine with just all the 16-bit shit. But I remember seeing that, just like, oh wow, this feels so like. I remember even what the cutscenes were. If they had like a 3D cutscene, maybe just Sonic and the birds fucking running, like, yeah, we fucking did it, guys, woo!
Yeah, exactly. I think that's all it really was. I don't know if I ever beat it on Sega Saturn for some reason. I beat it on Genesis back in the day, but...
Oh, I remember just seeing like the when like it came out on Genesis and seeing the opening cutscene, and it was just like this 3D generated like cutscene of Sonic running, but it was so compressed and so pixelated and so gross looking. But at the time, you're like,
oh my god, it's so amazing.
you just kind of look at your friend you're playing the game with like, we made it.
We're finally
there.
in the future. Yeah, no, that game, like Sonic 3D Blast on Genesis, like that was the game where you're like, holy fuck. Like, oh my god, dude, it's like you would have told your friends, because you probably didn't have like an N64 at this time or something like that. You'd been like, dude, it's like 64 graphics on the Genesis. I don't know how Sega did it, but they did.
Then you realize, oh, that they just like took like those are. Oh, go ahead.
I was saying, it's literally like Mario 64, but Sonic style. Like, that's how it felt as a kid. I kid you not. Like, you would have... Nowadays, you'd sit down and compare it, and you're like, what, is I fucking retarded at that moment? But...
Well, I remember it was one of those things, like, now I see how it works, but it was just kind of one of those things, like, I had a Bug's Life for Nintendo 64. And this says a lot for the time. This is the time when 64 games are like $60 to $70. Bug's Life, like $25.
Ooh, discount.
Yeah. And I remember they did not actually have cutscenes for the game. They just had like stills of the movie with text over saying what happened. And I remember like just seeing like a still from the movie. You just like, it can generate that? And I was just like, one of those things like, duh, they just fucking took a shot. They just took a screenshot, pixelated it down, slapped it on the fucking cartridge. But as a kid, I was just like, but that's on the movie screen. Now it's on the TV. And it's on the Nintendo. It's like, yeah, that's how it works, dude. I remember that just blew my fucking mind.
See, I remember that same reaction from True Lies on Genesis, because I was like, oh my god, they got scenes from the movie in here. It's practically like you got the movie on Genesis. It was just like, at that time period, I'm like, some other game probably did that. I'm assuming that's definitely not the first one to do it, but that was probably the first one I had that did it, because I was like, well, Terminator 2 didn't have those kind of cutscenes, and nor did, like, you know, I'm trying to think of, like, nor did Last Action Hero, like the other, like, Arnold games I would have had at the time. So I was like, oh my gosh, the cutscenes there, it's like, it looks just like the movie.
For younger listeners, you got to keep in context, this is the same generation that was, like, amazed by the Yak Back.
Oh yeah, and still is amazing in this day and age.
Look up Yak Back if you don't know what it is, and that's Yak spelled Y-A-K.
And back spelled B-A-K. Just
really? I didn't know that.
That's how it's spelled. So it's not Yak.
90s.
Yeah, minus those letters out. We don't need them. But yeah.
We're a minimalist society.
Exactly. We got our own lingo. But yeah. I just hope for Sonic Mania 2, though, that they do actually... I think this is a good stepping stone for Sega. I hope that they go smart from this point on and start doing more things like this. Because once... I don't know how many times I've said it here and everywhere else in the world, but Sega has so many of their... You know, they got more stuff than Nintendo has, by far. They probably have double the amount of games that Nintendo has. It's weird to think that, but Sega has so many different franchises that just sit in a closet at, like, Sega Japan, and just nobody touches them.
Well, let's think about it for a second. So we got the obvious one, Sonic. We got Channel 5. We got Shenmue. We got Virtua Fighters.
Channel 5 is that's
it's
the
huge.
Second one.
It's huge. They throw ooh la la anywhere they fucking can. I know it's not one of our favorites.
It's like that's. I mean, like, okay, in Japan it's a little bit bigger character, but in America that character is like such like the forgotten one. It's like out of all the Sega games you could have named as number 2. And I'm not saying it, like there's nothing wrong with the game. It's got Michael Jackson in it. You can't complain if it's got Michael Jackson in it.
I'm just getting the ones out of the way. I'm afraid I might forget. That's all I'm doing. All right, and then you got Virtua Fighter. You got
Virtual Cop,
Jet Grind Radio. Didn't you have? It's not Bruce Willis Die Hard. But they have a series called Die Hard, right? The arcade game. Is that Sega?
Well, there's the Die Hard. There's the first one is like a Bruce Willis one, and then I think it's one of those ones they lost their licensing, so they're like, fuck it, we'll make our own game. And there's like Dynamite Cop, and then there's Zombies Revenge. So you have games like
House of the Dead.
You have House of the Dead, of course. That's one of the few ones they do still sort of like.
Altered Beast.
Yeah, Altered Beast. You got Shinobi, of course, probably being like the other like really big one. Streets of Rage, Golden Axe,
Echo the Dolphin.
Echo the Dolphin, Ristar, like
Vector Man.
Vector Man, yeah.
Alex the Kid.
Yeah, Alex the Kid. Those are some of those ones. Like, there's a handful of them that like I'm like I don't think that'd be like their first choice, but I think something like I feel like Streets of Rage. After you see Sonic Mania, it's like, dude, why don't you guys just make a Streets of Rage 4 and do it like the exact kind of Sonic Mania way, or a Golden Axe 4, do it the Sonic Mania way. And just kind of like, I think it's a good stepping stone where Sega could really like, almost in a sense, take over that like I guess small game market. I'd say indie game market because obviously it's not indie if Sega's doing it, but you know what I mean. Like that they could pretty much I like this. They could just compete with a bunch of single men that make video games, just solo guys, and Sega. Sega's coming in to take all their jobs.
That company that made Dust, you just have like just Sonic knocking at the door, Knuckles behind him, just like.
Dust is like a big one. I'm thinking about the ones where it's only like 1 or 2 guys that makes it.
Like Retro City Rampage, something like that.
Yeah, like Retro City Rampage or Axiom Verge or Stardew Valley or even the Hotline Miami. I think that's only got like a couple guys on it.
Sonic just like walks in. He can run in, but he's just gonna walk in like, so you guys looking all nice and cozy in here, I see, huh? Well, just puts his feet up on a desk, knocks someone's shit over.
Exactly. Just
like you could be problems if you just keep it up. It's nice and safe over at Sega if you guys want to come on by there. Like you guys have the money. It's like, what the fuck you saying? Grabs him by the collar.
But really, I think it's one of those ones. If Sega just hired like a handful of those indie developers, now who knows if they might have their own plans of what they want to do. But let's just assume they have nothing better to do but make games for Sega. Like. Just grab those guys and just go, hey, you guys make a Streets of Rage one. You guys make a Shinobi one. You guys make I'm just trying to think like the ones that I know would do probably pretty darn well before they're totally forgotten. That's the thing though. Is like if Sega waits any longer, like I feel like you could probably make Echo the Dolphin. You could probably make another one of those again, like a 2D one. Mm-hmm. You could probably do. Especially since Shenmue 3 is coming out, it's like I feel like this is a good time for Sega to kind of jump back and like say, hey, we got some stuff that needs to be kind of made before it gets too late and then it's kind of forgotten. Like Alex the Kid, I don't think anybody gives a fuck about Alex the Kid.
No one gives a fuck about Alex the Kid. I was just trying to say another name.
It's not that Alex the Kid's a bad game, but it's just one of those ones. I mean, I'm not saying somebody probably could revamp Alex the Kid and make it fucking awesome. Because, I'll say this. What's a similar game to Alex the Kid, I guess you could say, like, modern, is Shantae.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I feel like if you did Alex the Kid and you did in the Shantae style, you could probably sell Alex the Kid a lot better.
Alex, yeah? When did you wear a bikini? But
you're getting a sex change,
boy.
Too.
I'm a boy. We don't give a shit.
Alex could be a woman's name, too. Yeah. Actually, you know what? You'll be the first unisex, like, video game character.
Yeah.
You're both. You can use any restroom.
Now you better... If Shantae outsells us, the terrorists win.
Yeah. Can't trust the terrorist. Can't have a gypsy.
Sorry, that's fucking horrible. I'm sorry, that's fucking horrible, I know.
It's one thing kind of cool is there's the Sonic Forces game. There's a costume where you can play as the main character from Jet Grind Radio.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm like, that's kind of cool. That's a step in the right direction.
I still don't feel that. I just that Sonic Forces game, chances are I'll probably get it, but it's one of those things like, all right, 3D Sonic. Maybe you're going to improve upon some of the shit that you were working on before. That's good. 2D Sonic. There we go. Awesome. Like, hey, we get your own creative character, which is like, I get it. I get who you're reaching to, and it's not to me. But at the same time,
it's not to the classic generation. It's to the modern generation.
And I get it. That's probably going to get him some money. That's going to get some extra buys. At the same time, like, I don't need... I mean, I'm probably going to have to just, I'm not sure how wide the creation is, but if I am, I'm just going to make some joke characters. Just, like, most ridiculous, like, Sonic OCs. Like, this is Sancho, the platypus. He, too, has the power of using chaos control, and he's the long-lost brother of blah, 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 of a clone of Sonic and that, whatever.
Yeah, just some long bio that's unnecessary about it, but...
Or this is Marcel Snoop, the muskrat, or just like the most random fucking like OC. I got a feeling it's just going to be like, okay, you can be a dog, you can be a hedgehog, you can be a cat, and here's the color. I'm guessing it's going to be something kind of like that, probably,
Yeah, exactly. One of those kind of things, but I don't know. It's just still going off Sega. It's like, I think about other stuff. Like, where I think they could also excel is they could probably, like, these are the other kind of games, is they could just make arcade games over again. Like, say, like, Crazy Taxi, make it like Crazy Taxi 4 or 5 or whatever the fuck they want to call it. Make, like, just take a lot of those ones, like, and just sell them for, like, $10 on, like, fucking PlayStation Store and Xbox Store and Switch Store. Like, I just feel like Sega could just make copious amounts of money just by making sequels to old games. I mean, I guess you could technically re-release stuff too, but no. Do fucking brand new shit. That's what we want.
We forgot Phantasy Star Online. We forgot that one.
No, not Phantasy Star. Fuck Phantasy Star Online. Make Phantasy Star.
I don't know. I'm just saying a name. I'm just saying a name. I'm not trying to... I'm just saying that will probably make money, though, of Phantasy Star Online. I'm just saying. Yeah, that got hostile quick. I'm sorry. Where did it touch you? Point to the doll. Point to the Mario where it touched you.
Point to the Mario and touch me everywhere. I'm going to circle that. Because here's the thing. I'm not saying anything against Phantasy Star Online, but ever since they made Phantasy Star Online, they've never made a Phantasy Star game anymore, like a regular turn-based one. Mm-hmm. They literally just said, like, Sega was one of the first companies to say, fuck turn-based. Fuck them up their stupid ass. We're doing online. We're going to be the future. We're hip. We're Sega. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's how Sega's always kind of been. Sega's the one to literally throw the past away and say, fuck it, we don't need to remember this. Burn those books.
Turn them in front of them so they'll remember.
Yeah. What's the worst thing that ever happened when people burn books?
I think that's the reason why so many... I feel like that's the reason why so many... Sonic not parody, but rip-off characters did not last, because Sonic himself is meant to be like, yo, bro, I'm edgy, where everyone else is like, okay, let's try and copy the very of-the-moment edgy character. The thing is, Sonic was group-focused to death to be the super likable, like, appealing character.
90s kids.
Exactly. So it's one of the... Well, even his original, like, Yuji Naka, even the original drawings of him, he still looks like Sonic, but he has like these weird fangs. His quills are a little bit more ruffled. He's a little bit more shorter and stockier and kind of hunched. And they're just like, no, it looks good. But what if we just... And they really had to fight tooth and nail in order to make him like soften up and like make him look more like kind of Felix the Cat. So I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw Sonic, I thought he was like punk rock Felix the Cat.
Yeah, that's kind of how he has that look.
The eyes, So, so that's the reason. I think it's the character's design alone, which has kind of made him last so long. But regarding that, though, I literally remember hearing like a statement from Sega, and who knows, maybe they withdrawed on some of this. But it was this period where like they were laying off a bunch of people, and it was the most cold, calculated statement ever. It wasn't like... I kind of give him some credit for it, because it wasn't like, we're at Sega or a family, but sometimes family has to go its own way, so clear all of this shit out of your box. It was more like, we're moving towards mobile gaming. We're planning to move forward. We're not looking to make very many games off consoles, off that, or any more. We're just looking to mobile gaming, pachinko machines, and arcades. We still may continue the Sonic franchise. It was very, like, cold, calculus. We will still continue that, and, like, it was just very cold, very, like, business, no joy, no nothing. Just very much like, that's where you feel the most profits are at this current time. So, less soul than what I'm saying it right now, I remember.
Yeah, and it's just one of those ones, like, I mean, sadly enough, it's like, so many Japanese companies did the exact same thing. I don't know what it was.
Konami.
Yeah, Konami did it, Capcom does it. everybody's kind of doing it. And I feel like, I will say this, like, you look at, like, the list of all, like, the kind of, like, on the, like, just the PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, it doesn't matter which one it is. Nobody's really jumped in and said, you know what? You know where the market might be is what about being in the small game market? You know what I mean? Nobody's really jumping. I mean, of course, there's the indie creators. Really, I'll say the only person who really fucking is like jumped and raped that market more than anybody else is fucking SNK, because there seems to be like an SNK game come out like every week. Now, granted, they're just old games, but nobody else is doing that. Like, SNK is the only company that's throwing out, like, here's Metal Slug, here's King of Fighters, here's Mark of the Wolf, here's all, you know what I mean?
Here's Fatal Fury, yeah.
Here's Samurai Showdown, and we'll throw out different versions along the way. And we'll throw them out in random-ass order, because who the fuck cares?
Did you already buy this one? Maybe. It's another $2. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, SNK! You know, but nobody else is doing that. Like, literally, like, look up a Sega game on PS4. They're not there. There's some on Xbox One, I will say, but...
There's a lot on Switch.
There's Sega games on Switch now?
No, a lot of SNK games.
Oh, yeah. The SNK, but they're on all of them. You know what I mean? Like, on Xbox, on PlayStation, on Switch, they're always there.
We made jokes about Sonic being like the town hooch. It's more like SNK, like Terry from Fatal Fury, just like leaning over a car like, hey, fellas.
Yeah, now they're becoming the new, like, they'll just show up on, like, everything. I mean, like, and then they'll pull the random-ass SNK games. You know what I mean? They got, like, the baseball one that it's like you remember from, like, a Neo Geo thing. You're like, oh, what the fuck?
I forgot about that shit.
Yeah, the robot baseball one. That's what I always remember as a kid. It's like, oh my god, it's a robot baseball player. Like, this is so futuristic.
Times.
You know, but, like, so it's like SNK's doing it, but literally, not even Nintendo's doing it right at the moment. Nintendo doesn't even have their own games. Now, they're probably making a build-up. We know what Nintendo does, but... I just feel like, okay, nobody's taking advantage of that market. Like, dude, perfect example is I feel like, okay, we talked a bunch about Sega doing it. Well, here's two other companies that could do so well if they just did this. It's Konami and Capcom. Like, they could just put their old games on there and just release them at, like, you know, $8 a piece, like fucking SNK does, and just says, like, whatever, here's a bunch of our old games. We can just make tons of money off this. 2, they could just start making, like, more sequels to, like, those kind of old games, like, you know, more Contra games, you know, more, trying to think for Capcom. Like, see, that's like, well, okay, I guess you could say they were doing it with, like, Mega Man 9 and 10, and they kind of said, fuck it, not doing as good as we wish. You know, I mean, I guess you could say they got the Legacy Collection, so that's, like, the closest thing, but...
Another stab at Devil May Cry, maybe.
Yeah. Devil May Cry, like, I guess because those ones are a little bit newer, so they don't feel like they're... But, like, you know... I don't know, it's like, there's just certain kind of, like, I guess I just call it the small game market that's mostly all indie games. I'm surprised that none of the big companies jump on that. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see it every once in a while. Like, Halo did it. It sounds weird to think that Halo did, but they made that, like, that Spartan one. It came out, like, on the phone, but then you could get it on Xbox. And it was kind of cool. It was, like, a top-down view game, and it was, like, a twin-stick kind of shooter, and you just kind of did little missions and everything like that. So it's like, some companies have done it, but that's about it.
Yeah, you know, you think they would. I feel like that it's one of those things that, like, why the fuck we've been trying to appease the Americans? They now play just only first-person shooters and all that. But I feel like first-person shooters are starting to go by the wayside, and we're starting to see more, like... I mean, even though... one of the biggest games that a lot of people were looking for, or two biggest games over the last couple of years, was, like, Bloodborne and... What's the other one by the same guy?
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls, yeah. Bloodborne and Dark Souls are like two massive games that like people here love, and they're Japanese. And you know, Nintendo is always going to have their audience, but then like Zelda Breath of the Wild came out, was pulling from those, and people like responded a lot more to Zelda. And Switch, I believe, is still selling pretty well. So
yeah,
you know, I feel like go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it's kind of weird though, because like when you play like Bloodborne or Dark Souls, they don't feel Japanese at all. Those games feel absolutely nothing Japanese. I mean, maybe if you get really deep into them, there's going to be some Japanese moment in there, but... Because I can never get into them. I thought the game... I don't know, when I was going into it, like, it felt like it was going to be like, oh, this would be kind of like Castlevania, and then it's like, oh, no, I know what type of game this is. These are those games where I feel like at the end of the day, I should punch out a ticket and get paid, because I'm doing so much goddamn work. I don't really like video... Once a video game starts to feel like a job, I don't think that's very much fun. Obviously, some people like working. I'm not going to put anybody down for doing that, but for me, it's one of those ones, like, if you really want me just to go kill 3 guys, run back to the save room, deposit your stuff, go back out, do that again, I don't want to do that. That's not fun. I don't want to fucking work. But, yeah, it's one of those ones. It's weird, though. They don't feel Japanese at all. Like, until somebody told me that those games were Japanese, I would probably, if I was just playing it, I would have thought they were European. That's what they look like.
They probably take a lot more inspiration from American games and European games lately because they probably want to try and sell it to more like worldwide.
Well, and we've talked about this before, but there's a lot of games Japanese games that sort of sold out for a Euro-American audience. Devil May Cry 5 did that. The last Castlevania 3D games did that. There's a handful of them that just they got rid of their Japanese looks for it. Because I feel like Dark Souls is one of those ones, and we'll wrap this up real quick, but if that game was made like 10 years ago, it would have looked anime as fuck, I bet.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Big eyes.
If that came out for PS3... it would have looked like... it would have looked like Devil May Cry. It would have looked fucking badass looking and everything like that. Instead, they kind of went with the Euro look. And, don't get me wrong, that appeals to the American audience. I get it. But for me, it's just... The look isn't really there. And then, as I said, I don't really like that type of gameplay. Like, I don't know. I think it's just when you get older, I want to play a game. I don't want to have to, work. The days of, working in video games, I feel like that's for kids, who have free time. They'll, punch in a fake time card where you're not actually getting paid.
Not looking to totally destroy that argument, but what was walking back and forth through tall grass for hours on end?
Well, that's when you're catching stuff. I think that's a little bit different. See, that type of training, I don't know what it is.
That's still a little bit of the same.
It sounds weird, but that training is when it sounds weird when it's in a turn-based game. It's not so bad. And here's the thing, though, is in Pokemon, though, I don't have to run. That's this game is I guess you do technically if you want to change your Pokemon out, but in those games, turn-based games, you run back because you got to maybe heal at some point, but most of the time you could just take, tents and stuff with you or potions and heal along the way, which, I guess this one probably eventually you'd get to that point, but this one still felt like I couldn't just save anywhere. I had to always run back to the room and save and do that over again and over again. And, here's the thing. If you get into the game, yeah, it probably is kind of cool and things like that, but, yeah, that style for me is it's one of the ones. I'm not saying anything against the game. It's just for me, I'm kind of done with those kind of games that are so hardcore. You gotta fucking every 2 minutes you should be fucking saving and being grateful you actually went back and saved. Because if you don't, guess what? When you die, fucked. That's it.
See this tear tattoo I have? That's for every time that's for every time I had to die inside Bloodborne and get all my items back all over again.
See, it's and even Pokemon, okay.
See this
Pokemon,
whole sleeve? That's my second mission. Yeah.
Perfect example, Pokemon. If you die in Pokemon, you don't lose all your stuff. You know what I mean? You just fucking take your eye out of the drink.
Yeah, it's got splashback. Not washback, literally splashback. Yeah. This bottle of whatever just splashed into my face. Okay.
But yeah, we went on for so long there. It's funny how it is. You can have no topic and you go on for even longer than anything else, but make sure to check out Pizza Boyz 3. It's up on Amazon right now. You can go there and you can get it for free if you got Amazon Kindle Unlimited. If not, it's only $3. Then you can also check out Pizza Boyz 1 and 2 on Amazon, or those ones are also on Comixology as well. So you got choices. Also, if you want to support the podcast, we'll have some type of Amazon link you can click on. Just buy whatever. It doesn't make a difference. It won't cost you any extra, but it'll at least help us out a little bit. Just use that Amazon link to get to Amazon, and you're helping us out. It's a real easy way to support the podcast. Check out oldmanorange.com for more podcasts, cartoons, music, and more. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Ryan Dunigan.
We'll see you some other time.
Later, folks.
Thanks for listening to the Old Man Orange podcast. Check out our website at oldmanorange.com for even more podcasts, cartoons, videos, music, and more. Send us an email at oldmanorangepodcast@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe, share, rate, and review us on iTunes, Podomatic, or any of the other fine sites we might be located on. And if you want to help out even more, click on the Amazon or GameStop links on our webpage before you make any purchases there. Won't cost you a penny, but it sends us a little something our way. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week to Old Man Orange.